The following is a special presentation of Sunshine Network.
If you play college baseball, you don't want the season to end, and that's particularly true in regional baseball tournament action, where this afternoon we'll play two, like Ernie Banks used to say. We go to the championship tilt between Florida State and the University of Central Florida. These guys don't want to see the season end, and you know what? I don't think the fans do either. It's Florida State UCF in a winner-take-all ball game at Dick Howser Stadium in Tallahassee. Hello and good afternoon. Gene Deckeroff along with Tom Block, and we are going to play two today. The University of Central Florida forcing a second game on Championship Sunday by coming from behind and knocking off Florida State 7-5 in that first game.
It's been a very impressive UCF club for Jay Bergman. They've got a great pitching staff. They've showed it this weekend. This is the 6th year since the NCAA has gone to the regional, super regional format, and this will be the 3rd time that Jay Bergman's team has gotten to the final game of the regional championship. They've never advanced past that point. Conversely, FSU has never failed to advance to the super regionals. So both teams here want to live to play another weekend, and it's going to come down to a pair of freshmen on the hill for each side.
In the first game, we saw a little bit of everything, including an outstanding performance by freshman pitcher Brian Brooks. But with the stick, the Seminoles went long early. This is a triple by Stephen Drew. He's going to come in and plate the game's first run, thanks to a wild pitch. It was long ball early, particularly by the left-handed hitters of the lineup.
Very similar to the Saturday game between these two schools, where FSU grabbed the lead early, and then yesterday they made it hold up. Today they failed to do so. That was a home run by Ryan Malone. Then Stephen Drew hits what would be a routine fly ball in most parts. Dick Howser, it's a home run. FSU grabbed a 3-zip lead. UCF came back. Here, D. Brown, poor play defensively, and a run scores, and UCF kind of chips away. FSU would get one back on this sac fly where Kevin Richmond has trouble making the transfer to his throwing hand. 4-1 FSU at this point, but then the Golden Knights, you really have to give them credit. They needed big hits. They got big hits. D. Brown was the guy that led the charge. 2 RBI right there. He's making a bid to be the MVP of this regional, regardless of the outcome of this second game. And finally, UCF tied it on this fielder's choice, and that set the stages for a couple of dramatic plays.
Yeah, speaking of dramatic plays, how about this catch in the pasture by Shane Robinson? Now the go-ahead run was aboard and could have easily scored. He robbed an extra base hit.
But he didn't play left field because if he was out, this one was just a great shot by D. Brown. That's your game-winning home run, and he is the hero for UCF. He's the reason we're playing this winner-take-all decisive last game of this Tallahassee Regional.
Well, we go to the second game, the starting lineup, and tonight's first pitch in Game 2 is just around the corner. Don't go away. We got more baseball from Tallahassee.
The 2004 NCAA Baseball Regionals on Sunshine Network are brought to you by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. Bell South Answers, more choice of services, all from one company, all on one bill. Bell South, listening, answering. Well, at Dick Howser Stadium, those that bought tickets to today's championship round are getting 2 for the price of 1. As the Florida State Seminoles, who won Friday and Saturday and advanced to Championship Sunday with a perfect 2-0 record, are defeated 7-5 by the visiting Central Florida Golden Knights. And Mike Martin, in his 25th season, is going to have to get those wheels turning if he wants to advance to the Super Regional next weekend. Here is the Bell South Answers starting lineups for Mike Martin's Florida State Seminoles. Well, it's deja vu, the same lineup that we saw in the opening game today. Brian Zetz leads off and plays second. Stephen Drew, the Seminole shortstop, bats second. He had a home run and a triple in game 1 today. Eddie Martinez Esteve is the DH batting third. The cleanup hitter is catcher Aaron Cheeseman. Ryan Malone plays first and bats fifth. Matt Sauls in right field is the number 6 batter. Gibbs Chapman, Shane Robinson, and Dennis Anderson round out Mike Martin's Seminole lineup. The starting pitcher for the University of Central Florida Golden Knights is Brett Boardwine. We've got a pair of freshmen starting for these two teams that hope to advance and continue play in college ball. There you see Boardwine going through his Warm-up tosses, not much work, just 13 1/3 innings. He has struck out 9, walked 6. His earned run average a respectable 3.38, and opposing hitters are hitting just 2.55 against board wide. Defensively, one change or two. John Cooper moves into the hot spot at shortstop. He was a pinch hitter in game 1. Marshall Barnard plays third, Matt Ray at second, Chandler Rose at first, and Butera behind home plate. In the pasture, it's Brown, Timpner, and Kevin Richmond from left to right. That's the defense, and we're set to play baseball. Game 2 on Championship Sunday in Tallahassee, Florida at Dick Howser Stadium. There's John Cooper, the only change defensively by Coach Jay Bergman in the game. And he moves Chandler Rose from shortstop to first. He moves Ryan Bono into the DH slot. And the Florida State Seminoles are hoping that they can advance to super regional play against the winner of the Arkansas-Wichita State game that is being played in Fayetteville today.
Well, and one important note here, FSU the higher seed in this tournament, but the visiting team for this game. And you say, well, why wouldn't they, as the higher seed, earn the right to be the home team and get the last at bat? There's a complicated series of tiebreakers, if you will, and basically it's not awarded on the basis of seed as we look at Mike Martin, but it's awarded according to who's been the home team the fewest amount of times, and that honor goes to UCF, so they will get the bat last in this championship game.
Ryan Zetch, who went 1 for 3 in game 1, will take a pretty good cut at the first offering from board wide and slaps it foul toward the third base dugout. We're underway at Dick Howser Stadium. First pitch right at 6 o'clock on the button. And Brett Boardwine probably getting the most important starting assignment of his career. He's 1-0. And this is his first career start as a Golden Knight. The bender nearly nicks Zetch on the elbow, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, his first appearance this year came against number 2 LSU, and he really got roughed up. That was in relief. Gave up 4 runs in 1 2/3 innings. Since then, in limited duty, has only allowed 1 run and has pitched pretty well. This is his first career start, however, and you talk about a pressure situation. This is pretty big.
Well, LSU is a tough team to beat, period. Doesn't matter whether you play them at the box in Baton Rouge or anywhere else. They're making it to yet another regional, trying to go to Omaha. A ball and 2 strikes the count. Boardwine bears down. Here's the full wind up to Zetch. And that one just missed. 2-2. Ryan Zetch, a .346 hitter. On the season, having his best season of his 4-year career at FSU with the bat. Swing and a miss. Boardwine rears back, throws heat, and he strikes out the first batter he faces. If you're getting your first start in a pressure-packed game, that's just exactly what the doctor ordered.
Well, and Zetch has done a good job of getting on base as the leadoff hitter, but he chases the high heat right there. Tails inside to Zetch, and that's a confidence boost for a guy that, as we said, is getting his first start. And Zetch, if he had that to offer out again, he probably wouldn't offer because that was a ball.
Boardwine's 10th career strikeout. And the freshman out of Melbourne, O'Galley High School, will face Stephen Drew, righty versus lefty. And very wary of the power that Stephen Drew has. He clobbered a home run and a triple in today's first game. If you missed it,
Florida already up 1-0 on UCLA. Florida in the winner's bracket, so a win there sends them to the Super Regional.
Drew clubs one. If it's fair, it's a homer. It's foul by 5 or 6 yards.
He's got 1 home run and 2 foul home runs today.
My car's parked over in the same direction that he hit that ball to.
You should know better than that, Gene.
The old road trip sitting out there. I don't know why I parked it there. It was during batting practice, and I'm walking to the ballpark from the parking lot. 3 or 4 baseballs went bouncing off the concrete out there. 1-1 count, inside heat, ball 2. Or I beg your pardon, it's a strike. A ball and 2 strikes the count to Stephen Drew. Drew has had a little bit of difficulty trying to figure out the ump's strike zone.
Well, that was a good looking pitch. He thought it was going to tail further inside, and he kind of bailed out on it.
The way he backed away, it looked like it was inside. A ball and 2 strikes. Here's a towering fly ball. Could be, will be. See you later. It's gone. Drew hits a 1-2 pitch over the 30-foot fence right at my car. That hit my vehicle out there.
Well, unlike the home run he hit in the first game that was really just a fly ball that kept carrying, that was a wicked shot. His second homer of the day, and FSU has the lead. He just straightened it out. And Butera goes right out to his freshman pitcher and tries to get him to settle down. Says, hey, we went through this last game, no big deal. 43rd career home run for Stephen Drew.
Kevin Richmond, who plays right field for the University of Central Florida, played at Florida State last year, and he never moved. When that ball hit the bat, he knew it was out of here. And so did Stephen Drew.
Same thing as when Ryan Malone homered in the first game. Richmond just didn't even move.
Hit my satellite. 1-0 early, Florida State. Stephen Drew, who probably will get a phone call early tomorrow in the Major League Baseball draft, has given FSU a 1-0 lead. Florida State scored runs in the first, second, and third inning in game one today. But University of Central Florida, here's Stephen Drew standing up on the top step and getting a roar from the crowd. Second time he's done that today. The University of Central Florida came back, took the lead late, and then added insurance in the 8th inning and prevailed 7-5 over the #1 seeded Florida State Seminoles. Well, Brett Boardwine has given up 3 home runs now, and that shot by Drew, there was never a doubt. Boy, Martinez Esteve really clubbed it inside Highwood. Foul down the third base line. Get out of the way, Mike Martin Jr. Martinez Esteve trying to figure out Central Florida pitching today. It has been a long afternoon. He went 0 for 4 in the first game, and this has not been a tournament to write home about for Eddie Martinez Esteve, who again today told me I looked like I was losing weight.
He's just trying to get you to say nice things.
Well, he's got a better eye watching balls and strikes than he does looking at waistlines. That's a ball just inside, a ball and 2 strikes to count for the Seminole designated hitter. Boardwine's bender slapped toward third. Double pump by Barnard. And there are 2 outs.
I just don't think Eddie's been seeing the ball all that well this weekend. He's hit so well over the course of the season, but this weekend hasn't been the most memorable for him. Hasn't really made very solid contact all weekend long. He's just looked off balance. Hadn't been able to find a rhythm.
2 away now, and the batter will be Aaron Cheeseman. Eddie Martinez Esteve began this regional tournament in Tallahassee hitting over 400, leading the Atlantic Coast Conference in batting average, and in the tournament to this point he has gone just 1 for 12. And that is 0.085% if you do the math. Cheeseman the batter. 2 outs, nobody on. Drew hit a towering home run to give FSU an early lead. Hot shot, fair ball, knocked down by the third baseman Barnard. Cheeseman rounds first and will drop anchor and stay right there. Boy, a wicked hit. And Marshall Barnard just reached out with a glove to protect himself. Almost snared it, and it ricocheted off his glove. Hard luck for the hot hitter.
And that was the best hit ball that Cheeseman's hit this weekend. He was 0 for the first 2 games. Came around in the second game, and that's just a wicked line drive, and was probably, well, it might have curved foul, actually, if that doesn't hit his glove. It's hard to say. But Cheeseman, the ball was hit so hard, he didn't have a chance to dig for second on it.
And give credit, too, to Marshall Barnard for hustling and chasing that thing down as it rattled around on the fence over there where the tarp is, down the left field line. And that held Cheeseman, not blessed with great speed, to a single. A runner at first base now, 2 outs for Seminole first baseman freshman Ryan Malone. Malone hitting .326, a 5'11" freshman from Gainesville, one of 3 freshmen in the starting lineup today. We're playing game 2 on Championship Sunday if you just tuned in. Florida State losing the first game. Big swing at an off-speed pitch, and Malone is in a hole, 0-2.
Well, remember FSU last weekend at the ACC tournament battled through the losers bracket and responded very nicely. So, I mean, they've been in this position before, and they were certainly out of arms there, too. I mean, they're in a better situation pitching-wise and jumped on UCF here in the first already.
Malone 1 for 2, got hit in the first game, got a home run to boot. That one hit him again. Second time today Malone has been hit by a pitch, and he'll go to first base, and the Seminoles have runners at first and second with 2 outs in the top half of the first inning.
And the one thing FSU hasn't done all weekend is put together any series of, or sequence of hits. As we watch this again, and this one just tails in, and Malone, he tried to jump out of the way a little bit, but not a whole lot, as he just earns the free pass. FSU has not hit the ball well all weekend, and they've gotten a run here and there on UCF, but they've never mounted a big rally that would force UCF to get into its bullpen at any point.
Seminoles during the regular season lived. That pitch has got the inside corner, strike 1. But in this season, the Seminoles have lived with a big inning. They've scored 6-7 runs in big frames in 16 different ball games. You get to tournament time, though, you don't seem to have those big innings against the opponent
you're seeing
play in regional.
You're seeing better pitching for sure.
Florida State with runners at first and second. That bender just missed. The batter is Matt Sauls. Sauls, a .266 hitter on the season with a home run and 29 runs batted in. He is a senior. He and his brother, Mark Sauls, who was the starting pitcher in Game 1, hail from Panama City, Florida. 1-1 pitch due from Brian Boardwine. A lanky right-hander misses inside with a fastball. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Florida State got a run in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and just couldn't hang on to a 3-0 lead. Yesterday, 3 runs all the Noles needed to knock off the Golden Knights, 3-2. They survived the scare on the bottom of the 8th. Hammered right up the middle, through the box and into center field. Given the roundhouse, Cheeseman will head toward home. And the Noles lead 2-0. A 2-1 pitch right back up the box.
And that's the kind of base hit FSU hasn't been getting so far this weekend. You got a runner in scoring position, go ahead and drive him home. And Matt Sauls does the honors right there. As a team, FSU hitting just .228. Hitting .228 as a team coming into this game in this regional. They need to come up with some more key hits, and it's just over the glove of Boardwine, and no chance up the middle to get it. And with 2 outs, Cheeseman's going on contact. He scores no problem. Matt Sauls with the RBI single. Ryan Malone stopped at second on that one.
And for Matt Sauls, his 30th run batted in of the season. 2-0. Florida State in the top of the first inning. Runners at first and second still. And Gibbs Chapman sends a flying rocket shot. Is it fair? It's a home run, but it's foul by a couple of yards. Boy, Gibbs Chapman may have hit the ball as well then as he has this entire tournament. Really got around on it, and the junior from St. Cloud, Florida, almost drove in 3 runs. Florida State would love to jump out in front by a big number against the Central Florida Knights and take a big lead, because UCF, sound fundamentally, outstanding pitching. They manufacture runs, and it's a good hitting ball club. They are averaging better than 300 for the weekend in Tallahassee. Boardwine bluffs the runner back at second. And Gibbs Chapman saying, "Throw me another one just like that one, Mr. Pitcher." Freshman right-hander on the hill, Brian Boardwine. Wheels and deals high with a fastball, and it's a ball and a strike.
Well, if you look at the numbers, Gene, you talk about UCF hitting this weekend. Over the course of the season, UCF has a higher team batting average, a better ERA, a better fielding percentage, and more stolen bases. So the only area where FSU really has the edge looking at the season numbers is in terms of power. FSU has a lot more pop in its lineup.
Double the number of home runs. That's a bender that he didn't bend. Really struggled with that breaking pitch. High and away, 2-1. 2 outs, 2 on. Florida State has plated a pair of runs here in the top of the first inning. Drew Winyard, a towering home run. And then the Seminoles get some timely hitting. Cheeseman with a single, a hit batsman, and then Matt Sauls drives in run number 30. Inside, almost hit him, 3-1.
Well, it's a tough spot for Boardwine and UCF because there just aren't a lot of arms to run out. They've played one more game than FSU has to this point.
What happens when you get in the losers bracket in the regional? Here's a grounder, foul by a foot.
Boy, he has missed a 3-run homer and now a 2-run double by not very much.
Yeah, if that's fair, the Noles lead 4-0. It's foul by a foot and a half, and the score is 2-0. How about the effort by Chandler Rose? He thought he was still playing shortstop.
Of course, I say that. If that's a fair ball, Chandler Rose probably has that if it's 6 inches to the left. So maybe it's not a 2-run double.
Almost snared it that time. Full count, payoff pitch due now. Runners will be off and going with a pitch. Chapman swings and misses. Big strikeout thrown by Brett Boardwine with runners at first and second. A 3-base hit first frame for the Noles. Plates a pair of runs. 2 are stranded. We go to the bottom of the first inning. UCF comes to the plate. It's 2-0 FSU. Florida State scores a pair in the top half of the first inning. Florida State, the visiting team today, and the home team is the University of Central Florida, coached by that fellow right there, Jay Bergman, in his 22nd season as the skipper. of the Golden Knights. 1,091 wins. He's in the top 15 among active pitchers. Bell South answers starting lineup for Jay Bergman's Golden Knights. Clay Tempner leads off, plays center. Matt Ray at second base bats second. D. Brown, the left fielder, is the number 3 hitter. The cleanup hitters, Ryan Bono. Then it's Marshall Barnhart, Chandler Rose, Kevin Richmond, Drew Butera, and John Cooper. Cooper, the only change in Jay Bergman's lineup. Starting pitcher for the Seminoles, Brian Schultz. A pair of freshmen facing each other. Schultz hails from Lake Gibson High School in Lakeland. Big, hard-throwing right-hander, 180-pound freshman. He's 6-1 on the year, making his 5th start of his first year at Florida State. Schultz, a lefty. Wheeling and dealing. A ball and no strikes as we're in the bottom of the first inning at Dick Howser Stadium. Florida State getting a home run from Stephen Drew. And you wonder if today is the last day Drew will play at Dick Howser Stadium. A double hopper to Drew. Bobble, can't gobble it up. And that'll be an error on the All-American shortstop. Defensively, in the pasture, it's Gibbs Chapman, Shane Robinson, and Matt Sauls. Around the horn at third, Dennis Anderson. At short, Drew sets the second baseman Malone at first. Aaron Cheeseman behind home plate. And Brian Schultz. Well, a routine ground ball, maybe too routine. And Drew mishandles it, could not pick it up. Everybody's safe, a runner aboard now.
And that's not the guy you want to do that to with all the steals that Tempner has.
In the Arkansas Regional, the homestanding Razorbacks have forced a second game there as well. And battling out of the losers bracket, they beat Wichita State 11-9. Florida State leading 2-0. Tempner, a threat to steal anytime he gets on base. Matt Ray, the batter.
Well, that Arkansas score is important to FSU and UCF fans. Whoever wins this game plays the winner of that series. If Wichita State wins that regional and FSU wins here, FSU would most likely host the Super Regional next weekend as compared to going on the road to Arkansas, which is what would happen if Arkansas and FSU win.
Because Arkansas is one of the 8 national seeds. They were the number 8 seed. Florida State began a strong move in the home stretch of the regular season, including a marvelous performance in Salem, Virginia, during last week's Atlantic Coast Conference tournament. However, when the national seeds were put together, Florida State a little too late with that good baseball they played down the stretch, winning their final 6 games of the regular season and then knocking Georgia Tech off in the championship game. Here's a high hopper toward third, gloved by Anderson. His throw pulls Malone off the bag, but the freshman first baseman makes the tag with that first baseman's claw, and there's one away.
That's a great play by Anderson. I know the throw was high, but I mean, that was a tough hop. And if that doesn't get gloved by Anderson, Drew, even with his cannon, is not going to throw out anybody. So he comes in. That's what you have to do. You have to play the ball instead of letting it play you. And then Malone with the nice job to make the tag right there for the first out. The runner moves up to second.
And what Anderson did also was he knew there was no chance of getting the speedy Clay Templer forced at second base, and he thought first base all the way through and made a nice play. One down now, one on at second. That's Clay Templer. The batter is D. Brown, a Seminole killer in game 1 today.
Well, he's killed everybody this weekend. He's the top hitting player in this regional tournament, hitting .563, 9 for 16. Including the game-winning home run last game.
Yeah, a home run that was on a line shot. Didn't get much altitude, but it was 3 or 4 feet taller than that left field fence. 1-1 pitch. A little inside, 2-1. Florida State gets 2 in the first. In the bottom of the first inning, D. Brown with one swing of the bat could tie things up. Surprising with the power he demonstrated in game 1 today that he does not have more home runs than he has. He has just 5. Big kick, had a notion, held back, and it got the outside corner.
Well, I think, you know, the point we talked about in the first game, Gene, if he devoted himself year-round to baseball instead of playing football all the time, you'd probably see more of that power come out. As it is, he doesn't play summer ball, doesn't play fall ball, just competes in the spring.
Ryan Schultz waves off one sign, got another, and this one misses down and in, ball 3, full count to dangerous D. Brown. Brown's batting average now almost neck and neck with Clay Templer for team honors as the top batsman, hitting .374. As he faces Brian Schultz, has driven in 68 runs, has a duck on the pond in scoring position right now. How about that pitch? Fooling, took something off of it. Deep round way out in front. Strikeout victim number 1.
He's been a tough guy for FSU or anybody to retire, but Schultz, the freshman lefty, comes down and in, and Brown can't get there.
Strikeout number 52 for freshman Brian Schultz. Really caught him off balance. Ryan Bono bats from the left side. The Central Florida cleanup hitter is the DH in game number 2 today. Played first base in game number 1. Rounder toward the gap at second. Zetch makes the play, and that'll end the inning. In the inning, no hits, no runs, 1 error, 1 left. We've completed 1 full. It's 2-0 FSU. After 1 full inning at Dick Howser Stadium, Florida State 2, University of Central Florida nothing. The Tampa Bay Lightning have forced the biggest game in all of sports, the final and decisive Game 7, as they return to Tampa in the quest for Lord Stanley's Cup. Tomorrow night, Sunshine Network will have extensive pregame coverage live from the St. Pete Times Forum on this all-important matchup. Pregame coverage between Tampa Bay and Calgary begins at 6:30 with Wood Watson, Sandy Pinter, and Sports Talk Live. At 7:30, Paul Kennedy, Rick Peckham, and the Chief, Bobby Taylor, will have pregame interviews and commentary during Toyota Lightning Ice Time. Then tune to Sunshine Network immediately following the game for Beef O'Brady's postgame. Live postgame reports and interviews with players and coaches only on Sunshine Network. Florida State 2. Central Florida nothing. Update you from that Oklahoma City Regional. Florida in the winners bracket. UCLA would have to win 2 today. Lead off hitting. Shane Robinson has just hit one out of the ballpark. His first career home run, and it comes on Championship Sunday.
Well, Shane Robinson is going to make himself a fan favorite. Anybody who plays as hard as he does defensively, and look at the big grin. He's not a guy that goes up there looking for to swing for the fences. His job is to swing for the holes, not the gaps in the outfield, the holes between second and short and third. But his first career home run.
Well, the Noles got long ball advantage early in that first game, and this pitch right over the outside part of the plate. Watch him club that fastball. Never a doubt the home run that he will never forget. His first as a Seminole.
He probably didn't know what to do for a home run trot. I mean, he slows down, but generally he only knows one speed, and it's full speed.
When he slows down, he can still outrun you and me. Florida State 3, another base hit into left field. D. Brown's going to pick it up on 1 hop, and the hit parade continues for the Seminole batting order. Is batter number 9 in the lineup card today. Dennis Anderson is aboard with a base hit.
Well, they got 5 hits in this game already. They only had 7 in the entire first game against UCF. As we mentioned, FSU as a team has not hit the ball well in this entire tournament. The bats are coming to life when they need them, and it's against a depleted pitching staff for Jay Bergman in the University of Central Florida.
Anderson, who went 0 for 2 in the first game, has started some activity down to that bullpen, as UCF is sending at least a pair of arms down there to loosen up. Freshman Brett Bourdwine has been mistreated by the Seminoles early. 2 home runs, 3-0 lead FSU. And Anderson is at first base with a single.
Shane Robinson with the curtain call right there. You know, they reserve that for people that hit home runs, but he's deserved a few curtain calls for the plays he's made defensively.
To the top of the order we go, and Brian Zetch will face Brett Bourdwine for the second time, a strikeout victim in the first inning, as Bourdwine had bookend K's. He struck out Zetch the first batter he faced and got Chapman swinging the final out of the inning. To check the runner at first and come home. Big bender down and away, 1-2.
Well, Bourdwine's fastball, curveball, slider doesn't really throw the changeup a whole lot, and when he's most successful is when he's hitting with his breaking ball.
Florida State gets a leadoff home run from Shane Anderson. Then Dennis Anderson follows with a single. Activity in the UCF bullpen. And Brian Zetch awaits a 1-2 pitch. Just got a piece of it and stays alive. High heat, Zetch offered. and got just a piece of it. Florida State leads the University of Central Florida 3-0. 2 home runs to this point in the game. Stephen Drew, who is on deck, and Shane Robinson have hit balls out of the park today in game number 2. Ford Wine's offering. Bender slapped foul and out of play.
Well, UCF has been in this game before on Sunday, one game away from the Super Regionals, but they have never in school history won a game on Sunday in the regionals until today. So a couple of years ago, they came within 2 runs of advancing to the Super Regional, and trying to get that done today.
Snap throw to first, and back just under the tag is Dennis Anderson. He was in no man's land, and that's a pretty good idea of the cannon that Drew Butera has. Boy, he just snapped that thing right to first base on the bag, and just barely getting back to the bag. Ahead of the throw, Dennis Anderson. Nobody out, bottom or the top of the second inning. Right back up the middle, a ricochet job, and there's everybody's safe. It gets away, and Anderson heading toward third. A play in the hot corner, safe, and out at second. Zed's trying to sneak to second base, and that's a heads-up play by third baseman Marshall Barnard.
Well, I want to see that again because I thought Zetch had his hand in there, and that's what Mike Martin Sr. is thinking as well. Aggressive base running for FSU, and Matt Ray just couldn't make the tag. It knocked out of his glove.
Well, Mike's all the way up. He's chasing down second base.
Well,
umpire Dale Luker.
Yeah, we'll need to see the replay. I tell you why I think Mike Martin's upset, and the replay may prove me completely wrong. To me, it looked like he anticipated that call. I'll finish that in a moment. Here, Karam's off of the pitcher's right foot, and now the tag should be made, but because he's trying to switch the ball to his right hand, he loses it. Hesitation on the part of Anderson. He ends up going to third, draws the throw, gets in there safely, and now watch at the end of the play. I think Zetch's hand is in there. And I thought in watching it that Luker looked as if he was anticipating the call and was ready to call him out, and then went ahead and did so.
Mike Martin with a long talk. Did he cut the sleeves off that T-shirt? Certainly looks like it to me. As he heads back to the dugout. Look at the sleeves on that T-shirt. I think he trimmed them. Florida State 3. The University of Central Florida nothing in the top of the second inning. Runner at third base now is Dennis Anderson with some aggressive base running on an infield base hit, the 5th of the game. Here's a towering blast, looping foul by Stephen Drew. He was trying to get his 3rd of the day.
Let's go back and take a look at this play by Zetch trying to be aggressive and get in there. There's the throw. I think his hand's in there before the tag's made. It's close play though. Zetch is looking back. He should just be hustling to second. His hand hits the bag before the tag is made.
Zetch beefed, but the call had been made. Stephen Drew will get his swings with a bat when he comes to the plate. He doesn't get cheated. 0-2 the count.
Well, he's got 2 home runs and 3 foul home runs. I mean, each foul home run keeps getting a little closer to the foul pole there.
0-2 pitch due. Stephen Drew on deck. Eddie Martinez Esteve at third base. Oh, this one hit Drew in the rib cage. And Drew is not very happy. Home plate umpire Dan Mascoro sort of escorts Stephen Drew down to first base.
Well, I mean, you know, Drew has left the yard already, but there's nothing intentional about this. And you got to look, UCF has pitched so well as a team. I don't think they're going to come inside and intentionally start trying to hit people.
That was an 0-2 pitch to get away from Brett Boardwine. And Drew's at first base now. 1 out, 2 on for Eddie Martinez Esteve, the Seminole designated hitter.
Drew just kind of gave him a little stare and then headed to first.
Eddie Martinez.
And he's still tucking himself in, and I guess he's all right, obviously, as Drew stays in down there.
Eddie Martinez Esteve is trying to get a designated hit.
Well, this is a great candidate for a double play ball if you're rooting for UCF. That's what the Golden Knights are looking for. And he has hit a lot of ground balls to the left side of the infield that are tailor-made for 2.
Martinez Esteve came into the Tallahassee Regional Tournament with a .401 batting average. In regional competition, he is 1 for 12.
It wouldn't surprise me if they tried to steal Drew early in this pitch sequence to take the threat of the double play off.
Well, Drew has stolen a base today, and let's see if they give him the green light to try to swipe second here. He has outstanding speed, has stolen 12 bases, has been caught stealing just once. He's not going, and the pitch was high. A ball and a strike. Florida State 3, Central Florida nothing.
FSU is 9 for 9 as a team in stolen bases in this regional. So, I mean, they've picked their spots, and most of the plays have not been close.
Florida State already with 5 base hits. Here's a towering shot toward left. D. Brown back to the track. He'll make the catch, but it's deep enough to produce run number 4. Boy, Martinez Esteve gave it a long ride. And gets a standing O for driving in the 4th run of the game.
Well, and that was a good swing. That's the Eddie Martinez Esteve that we've seen most of the year. And I think everybody in the stadium thought it was gone when he took a swing at it. You can see him bearing down, and boy, that's a good-looking stroke from Eddie Martinez Esteve. He looks as if he knows he didn't quite get it all, though. Wants to break into his home run trot, but knows that it's staying in the yard.
Dennis Anderson with some aggressive base running comes in to score on the sacrifice fly by Eddie Martinez Esteve. Look into the Seminole dugout. That was Jamie Shoup looking on. Florida leads UCLA 4-0 in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Runner going. Drew throw is right on the money. Drew caught stealing for just the 2nd time this season. And that is the end of the inning, but not before Florida State parlays 3 base hits into 2 runs and nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. It's 4-0 FSU. Florida State has scored a pair of runs in the 1st and the 2nd. And lead the University of Central Florida 4-0 in Game 2 of Championship Sunday at this Tallahassee Regional. Glad you found us on your television here on Sunshine. You look into the Central Florida dugout. They have been behind before. They trailed early. University of Central Florida trailed in the game yesterday against Florida State. Battled back, lose by 1. Had a chance to take the lead and maybe win in the 8th inning. Couldn't do it. Today they get the timely base hits and then a powerful blast from D. Brown to beat Florida State in Game 1. And therefore we are in Game 2 on this championship day. Leading off, Marshall Barnhart wraps one into center field, and UCF has something cooking.
Well, UCF has shown a lot of resiliency over the weekend. I mean, when they've gotten down, they haven't panicked. They've chipped away and come back. I mean, they've come back on FSU in the 2 previous games, so 4-zip in the 2nd. That's nothing to sweat. And good job of hitting right there for Bernhard to reach base.
Jay Bergman said, okay, here's what we got now, fellas. We're behind, but hey, we still got plenty of baseball left. Let's get out there. Barnhart at first base with a leadoff single. Here's a hot shot to second base. Sends the flip to second for 1. The throw to first. It's a double play. For the Seminoles of Florida State, it is the 2nd double play turned in this tournament. And that erases the leadoff base hitter.
Well, not only is this hit right at Zech, but it's hit sharply. I mean, so it's as long as you field it cleanly. I mean, you can go through the motions very cautiously and still easily get the double play, and that's what they did on Chandler Ray.
Double play, Florida State. As we mentioned, just the 2nd of this NCAA regional on the season. That is double play number 66. The batter is Kevin Richmond from Clearwater Countryside High School, a former Florida State Seminole. He'll face Brian Schultz. Schultz not on the roster when Richmond played here. Brian, a true freshman from Lakeland, Lake Gibson High School, tall left-hander. The base hit surrendered to Marshall Barnhart, just the 1st of the game, off the left-hander. Kevin Richmond, you see his numbers, 273 coming into today's action. A swing and a miss. Cheeseman dropped it. He'll have to make the throw to first, and that'll end the inning. In the inning, a leadoff hit back is erased by a double play. Kevin Richmond strikes out. We go to the 3rd. It's 4-0 FSU. Florida State leads the University of Central Florida 4-0 through 2 full innings at Dick Hauser Stadium. Florida State has out-hit the Golden Knights 5-1. FSU has been in postseason play an awful lot, haven't they, Tom Blank?
42 years altogether, 27th straight regional, which is the 2nd longest active streak behind Miami. 57 winning seasons. Every year FSU has fielded a baseball team that's had a winning record, and all time they lead the NCAA, everybody, in regional wins. 116 and 56 the record in regional play for Mike Martin. And you see 18 World Series trips, but it's been a long time by FSU standards since they've been to Omaha. It's been since 2000. 3 straight years without getting out to Omaha. Florida Gators working on getting to Omaha. They're putting the hurt to UCLA right now, 8-zip.
Florida State's Aaron Cheeseman was at home plate when Stephen Drew was caught stealing in the top of the second inning, so he will lead off here in the top of the third. It's Cheeseman, Malone, and Sauls. Batters 4, 5, and 6. Slated to face hard-throwing Brett Boardwine, 6'1" freshman from O'Galley High School down in Melbourne. A ball and 2 strikes the count now as Cheeseman got way out in front of that pitch, inside part of the plate if it was in the strike zone, and clubbed it between third base and third base coach Mike Martin Jr.
Some of the other teams, Gene, that have advanced, looking at it, Miami has already advanced to the Super Regionals, and Georgia Tech, so that's 2 ACC schools. Miami not in the ACC yet, but headed there.
Cheeseman just barely got a piece of that pitch. It stays alive and will await another 1-2 pitch.
Also, Texas, LSU, Arizona, South Carolina, and Tulane have all advanced to the Super Regionals.
I think Clemson has forced a game 2 in Athens against the University of Georgia. They were down early.
And Clemson is winning that game, too.
They just announced the score. I could not tell if it was final. In the roar from the crowd was.
Yeah, they won the first game 10-9, and they're leading the second game 4-zip in the top of the third.
A ball and 2 strikes the count to Aaron Cheeseman, a redshirt junior from Sarasota, Florida. Dad played ball. Also was a pretty good golfer. In the day, 1-2 pitch. Boy, Cheeseman was waiting and waiting, and he is gunned down on strikes. That got the inside corner. Looked like he was going to kick that leg out and swing the bat as hard as he could, and that bender just got the inside corner. Watch it again.
Well, that's the key for Boardwine, and Cheeseman knew it. He knew it was curving back, and then it was a question of whether the ump was going to ring him up. And there it comes. Strike 3 call. Cheeseman bows the head and heads back to the dugout. If Boardwine can get that pitch to hit, he's going to be able to compete and settle down a little bit here.
Third strikeout of the game thrown by the freshman right-hander. The batter is Ryan Malone. You got righty versus lefty, and the left-handed hitters in the Seminole order have been the big bats today. They jumped on Billick, the starter in game 1, and were completely buffaloed by Brian Brooks, who came on in relief and earned the decision. But early on, it was a feast for the left-handed hitters. Drew hit a triple and a home run. Ryan Malone had a home run in that ball game.
Boardwine has settled down a little bit, though. I mean, it's almost as if he got the butterflies out of his system. What's the worst that can happen now? Just go out there and throw strikes. He's done a pretty good job.
Malone hits it high in the air, back toward the fence in right center, and a jumping, leaping catch by Clay Tempner. That's another great play by that center fielder. We have seen some sparkling play in the pasture this afternoon.
Well, Tempner's one of the better defensive center fielders in the country, and he's playing in a strange park, although at this point it can't be that strange because he's been here all weekend long. But that thing just kept sailing on him. I don't think he knew how close he was to the wall. Could have maybe taken another half step, but that's a good job to play that by Tempner. And
what is his vertical leap? It's got to be up there. He had to really climb a ladder to rob Malone of an extra base hit. 2 outs now. And the batter is Matt Sauls. Sauls got a single, drove in a run back in the first, facing Brian Boardwine for the second time today.
Well, Boardwine threw 26 pitches in the first inning, 16 in the second, and 11 so far here in the third. So he is settling down a little bit.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Matt Sauls, batter number 6 in the Seminole order from Panama City. He and his brother have been in the Garnet Gold the last 2 years. Matt came in out of junior college, and Mark Sauls came in as a true freshman. Sauls started game 1 today. No decision. There's a strike, got the outside corner. And it appears that Boardwine has said, "The heck with that heater. I'm going to throw the bender." And he's throwing it almost exclusively.
That was the book on him. If he can locate his breaking ball, then he's going to pitch pretty well. And he's pitched pretty well all season since getting rocked in his very first appearance.
There's a liner into center. Base hit. Number 6 for the Seminoles, a half dozen. We're in the top of the third inning. Matt Sauls with a perfect day at the plate. He's 2 for 2.
And good speed for Sauls as he reaches base. I think that, the key thing for FSU they have had leads on UCF, but they have not been able to really put the Golden Knights away. They kind of leave them hanging in at 3-zip, 4-zip, and that gives the Golden Knights hope. What FSU needs to do is, if they have an opportunity, jump on it and really open up the lead. Obviously, 2 outs here, they're not necessarily in that position, but as this game develops, that's the mentality they need to have.
Gibbs Chapman bats next for the Seminoles. 0 for 4 in game 1. Boy, he tees off on the first offering and sends a liner. I mean, a frozen rope foul down the right field line. Gibbs Chapman has gone hitless in this Tallahassee Regional. He almost had an extra base bingo there. A runner at first and 2 outs for the Seminoles in the top of the 3rd inning. Boardwine checks Sauls at first. He's a threat to steal. Number 2 among base thieves in this Seminole batting order today.
Well, the last strike that, or last chance FSU had, Butera threw a strike down to second. I don't know if that'll deter FSU. They've been successful this weekend until then.
And he gunned down a pretty good base stealer in Stephen Drew, didn't he? 1-1 pitch. Big cut by Chapman. Got nothing but air. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Chapman from St. Cloud, junior college transfer for the Seminoles, has been a mainstay in the lineup. Awaits the 1-2. Boardwine delivers high and wide. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, a runner at first. Florida State leads the University of Central Florida 4-0. Chapman earlier this season had a 10-game hitting streak and began the tournament with an 8-game hitting streak, and that went away in the first game and never returned, or at least not till this point. Runner going on the 2-2. Buteris, though, is off the bag. And Sauls is in scoring position with a stolen base.
Well, we saw a clutch 2-out hit by Sauls that played at Aaron Cheeseman in the first. Now here's a chance for Chapman to return the favor. It's full count, and Sauls waited deep into this sequence, gauged Boardwine's delivery, and then easily stole the base. Easily because it wasn't that good a throw. It was way inside, and the ump had to play a little dodgeball right there.
15th stolen base for the kid wearing number 8. Florida State's got a runner at second. Now they got one more at first. Is Chapman in a hole 1 and 2. Works his way on base with a free pass. And Florida State trying to get something going. Jay Bergman saying, hey, come on now, freshman, throw strikes. Shane Robinson will bat next, and in the second inning, here is how he greeted freshman Brett Boardwine. First pitch throw, he tattooed it over the wall in left field, his first career home run. And Robinson bats with runners at first and second. And 2 outs. There's a breaking pitch that again hits that outside corner. That's been the most productive pitch Boardwine has thrown in this game. The walk, the first surrendered by Boardwine. And the Noles have runners at first and second with 2 outs. And the batter is Shane Robinson, MVP in the ACC tournament last week. A ball and a strike now, as that curve does not get the inside corner. Robinson, a true freshman from Tampa Jesuit High School. 271 batting average coming in. That home run, by the way, his 33rd run batted in. There's a good look at that youngster who did everything in his high school career. It's one foul and out of play down the first baseline. And first baseman Chandler Rose looked and said, I'm not going to go after that one. There's no way that's going to stay in the ballpark, and it didn't. Florida State scoring 2 in the first, 2 in the second. And 2 aboard here with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd.
Robinson's been clutch defensively and offensively of late. You mentioned what he did the ACC tournament. His average is a little misleading right now because I think over the last month of the season he really has played well and hit better than what his average would indicate.
Florida State's stranded 24 base runners in the first 2 games. Robinson had a nose from, checked his swing. The appeal to first base umpire Mike Serra. He says no, he didn't go around. So deuces are wild now with the count 2-2, 2 outs and 2 on. In game 2 of this NCAA Tallahassee Regional. Sauls at second with a pretty good lead. The pitch. just missed. And the count goes full to Shane Robinson. What was wrong with that pitch? I'll bet you Brett Boardwine wants to know.
Yeah, that was a pretty good looking pitch. Tough pitch to take if you're Shane Robinson with 2 strikes in there.
Catcher Drew Butera looks into the home dugout down the third baseline. Here's the payoff pitch. Runners going. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And that is the end of the inning. In the top of the third, the Seminoles get 1 base hit, strand 2 runners. We go to the bottom of the third. It's 4-0 FSU. Talk about him. Florida State leads University of Central Florida 4-0 as we mosey into the bottom of the third inning. 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. UCF no runs, 1 hit, and no error. Florida leading UCLA and really putting a pounding on the Bruins. They're up 8-0 early. Clemson is ahead of Georgia. Long Beach State leading Stanford. And Rice has a 1-0 lead over Texas A&M. Virginia in the top of the 6th inning trying to win their regional in Charlottesville, trailing. And Cal State Fullerton, boy, it's a field day. Florida State led early in game 1 today. Led 3-0, but the University of Central Florida came storming back in the final 3 innings of the game. And D. Brown's home run gave them a lead. They got insurance on a Timberman 2-base hit in the 9th and won 7-5. And forced game number 2 on this Sunday afternoon. It's Championship Sunday around the country in college baseball. Drew Butera leading off the Golden Knight 3rd inning. Left-hander Brian Schultz trying to find the strike zone. 3 balls and a strike now to the leadoff batting catcher. Batter number 8 in the UCF order. On deck, John Cooper. Then you go back to the top of the order and hot hitting Clay Tempter. Here's a liner. It will be in foul fair ground down the left field line. Chasing it down to the corner, Gibbs Chapman. A leadoff 2-bagger by Drew Butera.
Good piece of hitting by Butera. And again, UCF, it's almost as if they play without paying attention to the scoreboard. They're not going to get 2 down. They're just going to try to chip away. Stays down on it and rips it to left. And once again, UCF with a runner in scoring position. They had Clay Tempner at second in the 1st inning.
Well, Brian Schultz got behind in the count. Hitters count 3-1. And Butera with a .282 batting average. Too good of a hitter to have to come back 3-1 on. So shortening up to bunt is shortstop John Cooper, batter number 9 in the order. A pinch hitter in game number 1 today. He is from Orlando, a sophomore. Lake Highland Prep. Chance to do some damage now and get a run across. As a leadoff double by Drew Butera has a runner in scoring position. Big swing and a breaking pitch. And John Cooper's in a hole, 0-2.
He's getting the start at short because they like to rest Ryan Bono. He fatigues a little bit. So defensively, they take him out and he's DHing. And that's the reason they jockey the infield around.
Went after a pitch that appeared to be out of the strike zone. It was a big breaking pitch thrown offered by Schultz, and he slaps it foul and will await another 0-2 offer.
But that's just protecting the plate. Rather than wait to hear what the umpire says, he's going to make the decision for the ump and just go ahead and protect the plate. Here's a good look at Jay Bergman. Another 40-win season for Coach Bergman.
Cooper is a switch hitter, so he bats from the right side against the left-handed offerings of Brian Schultz. And the scouting report on John Cooper is he's a pesky kind of a hitter. He just gets up there and drives pitchers crazy. Florida State leading the University of Central Florida 4-0. In the bottom of the 3rd inning, runner at second. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. So Cooper fans, and there's one away.
Cheeseman applied the tag just to be sure since first base was open, but Schultz comes inside down and inside a little bit on that one. Cheeseman didn't field it cleanly, so he applies the tag. Keeps an eye on the runner at second.
Schultz's fan 3. He's not walked a batter, and he's given up a couple of base hits. The first extra base hit off of Brian Schultz in game number 2 today. The leadoff batter in this inning. Here's a high hopper toward Malone. Gobbles it up on a short hop. Makes the unassisted put out. That's a nice play by a freshman first baseman from Gainesville. Advancing to third, though, is Drew Brutera. 2 away.
Well, Malone, I mentioned earlier, he had some problems with some errors earlier in the year. He was playing at second for the most part when that happened, but he's really settled into this first base role, and that's a tough hop. Watches it all the way and makes the easy play, and now UCF with a runner at third for the first time in this game, trying to get on the scoreboard.
First baseman's claw's got about 1.5 pounds more leather than a normal glove, though, doesn't it? Can you wear that thing at any position? I guess you can. 2 outs now, a runner at third.
It's like goalie's equipment in hockey, right? It just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
The batter is Matt Ray. Grounded to third base in the first inning, 0 for 1 today. And he hits one right up the middle. That'll drive in the Golden Knights' first run. That's a good base hit for Matt Ray. And the freshman, the only freshman in the UCF batting order, delivers an RBI single.
Yeah, that's a big hit because there's 2 outs. FSU had a 2-out RBI earlier today, but really UCF has done a much better job of getting the clutch hits. You get a guy to third, you don't want to leave him there, bring him home, and that's what Ray does. Right back up the middle. 26th RBI of the season, first of the tournament. And UCF, just as they did yesterday and earlier today, trying to chip away, and now a runner will move up to second as the ball gets away from Cheeseman.
That'll be a wild pitch on Brian Schultz. Cheeseman had no chance of knocking that thing down, and another Golden Knight in scoring position now in the bottom of the third inning.
Well, and that's key because you have D. Brown up there, who has worn out everybody in this tournament. He was struck out by Schultz earlier, but the way Brown's hitting, 500 for the tournament or thereabouts, now a base hit would cut that FSU lead in half.
6th wild pitch by Brian Schultz. Mike Martin in the Seminole dugout. He calls every pitch. He and Jamie Shoup sit side by side. 25 seasons Mike Martin's been calling the plays, calling the pitches from the Seminole dugout. They play 65, 70 games a year. Add them up. Another fastball that nearly got away. D. Brown with a line drive home run.
Well, I mean, you want to pitch carefully to Brown, but not that carefully.
That came back in game number 1, and that was the go-ahead run for the Golden Knights, who came from behind to beat Florida State 7-5. 2-0 pitch. Again, a little outside. 3-0 the count. In game 1, speaking of D. Brown's home run, see you later. That one cleared the fence by about 3 or 4 feet. Hit right on the nose. 3-0 pitch. Again, a high fastball, and probably not a bad idea. They didn't want D. Brown to get something in the wheelhouse. Schultz worked him high and away. Tough for the big fella to get around on. And he heads to first base. So there's runners at first and second with 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. And Ryan Bono will come to the plate. That's the first walk surrendered by Brian Schultz.
It almost looked like he was overthrowing a little bit in that sequence against Brown, and Mike Martin's going to come out and talk to him. I mean, the cleanup hitter is due up now. I mean, putting Brown on, it sets up a force, but perhaps Martin's just trying to settle down his freshman pitcher right now. You've got the cleanup hitter who had the big hit last night, the 3-run homer that won the game against Oklahoma State for UCF.
His first career walk-off home run, Ryan Bono, whose twin brother Kyle Bono is one of the mainstays of the University of Central Florida pitching staff. Florida State skipper Mike Martin trying to settle down his rookie left-hander. And the conversation over. Brand new batter to face, Ryan Bono.
That's the old throw a strike, Brian talk.
Yeah, after the visit to the mound, it's almost uncanny, isn't it? 2 outs. Schultz was cruising until back to a big double by Terra led off the inning. And then after striking out John Cooper and getting Clay Templer to hit into a ground out to first, Matt Ray hit a 1-2 pitch into the pasture, and that produced the first run of the game for UCF. 4-1 score in the bottom of the third inning. Line shot, and it's going to be trouble for Sauls. It'll ricochet off the wall. 1 run is in. It's 4-2, and the ball gets away from the Seminoles. D. Brown will stay at third. They missed the cutoff man, but it doesn't hurt.
They're very fortunate there that it didn't hurt, because D. Brown thought about it, but the ball came so close to the plate that Cheeseman just retrieved it himself. And that's back-to-back two-out base hits for UCF. And again, they're scrappy. I mean, UCF 47 wins on the season. They've played against some big schools this year. They played LSU, they played at Clemson, they played Notre Dame. They're not intimidated by FSU. And here's Sauls, the short hop, and there was indecision there as to whether to cut it or not, but it just rolls so close to the plate that D. Brown couldn't move up. Actually, neither runner moved up on that, and FSU very fortunate that that was the case.
Well, you question why Ryan Bono didn't head toward second, don't you? The Noles missed the cutoff man, and it was in no man's land. Cheeseman with good hustle. The Seminole backstop got out there, and I guess it was his effort, his hustle, that made Ryan Bono think twice about trying to go to second. The batter's Marshall Barnard. He's 1 for 1 in this game 2 this afternoon. He's got a runner at third, loops one into left center. Diving catch, Gibbs Chapman. What a play in the pasture by the junior from St. Cloud. Good golly, that robs him from an extra base hit, and another run batted in. They would have narrowed the gap to 1. In the inning, 3 base hits produce a pair of runs. We've completed 3 full. It's 4-2 FSU. As you look into the Seminole dugout, Florida State has a 4-2 lead, but before the third, it was 4-0, and it could be 4-3 or maybe more, except for this spectacular play in left field by Seminole left fielder Gibbs Chapman. Look what I caught. It's in my glove. That's the final out, and had it just been a single, it was 4-3. That would have been extra bases, and they had speed at first in Ryan Bono. How about that play, Tom Block?
And a guy that hasn't played left field all year long. I mean, he was at third base for a while. You know, I've talked about how FSU isn't that great a defensive team by FSU standards, but it needs to be pointed out that over the second half of the season they have been much better, and defensively Shane Robinson is terrific in center field, and now a great play by Gibbs Chapman to prevent UCF from cutting further into that lead. UCF's been robbed a few times by FSU in the outfield.
4-2 into the fourth we go, and Tom, it's your turn.
Thank you, Gino. FSU doubling up on the Golden Knights at this point, and Dennis Anderson leads off and skies one to right field, where former Seminole Kevin Richmond has no problem measuring it for the first out of the inning, and Brett Boardwine continues to settle down on the mound. The top of the order due up for FSU. This game is all 3 of these games, they're mirror images. FSU jumps out in front, and UCF chips away, and Florida State can never really open up breathing room.
A winner-take-all game today. You look into the Seminole dugout, and then you look into the mind of that fella, Brett Boardwine. A freshman in his first career start, Tom, and you got to be impressed. I mean, he didn't rattle when the Seminoles took an early 4-0 lead.
Well, and he's eaten up some innings, too, as Brian Zetch is up there now. I mean, UCF, if they had to go to their bullpen early, it could be big trouble. Zetch lifts this one to left field. D. Brown gives chase, still giving chase, and he runs out of room in the chase as Zetch has gone yard. Third home run of this game for FSU.
Brian Zetch had the long ball earlier in this tournament. He'll get high fives as he crosses home plate. Noles are up 5-2. And how about Brian Zetch? He had 6 career home runs coming into the senior season. He now has 8 in his senior year.
Have to go back and look at how much his brother Scott had during his career. Maybe there's a little family battle, bragging rights battle going on.
Watch Zetch, and that time Boardwine threw it where he shouldn't have, right over the heart of the plate, and Zetch just gave it a ride and kept going and going and going. D. Brown to the wall, and as he said, he just ran out of room to chase him.
Well, now you got a guy who knows a thing or two about home runs standing in there, and Stephen Drew. FSU with 7 hits has matched its hit total from the first game against UCF.
Zetch gets a curtain call.
And the 1-0 pitch to Stephen Drew, and Dirt, as he's referred to, lays off of it here into the FSU dugout.
That home run by Zetch is the 17th of the tournament by the Seminoles. It is his 2nd home run of the regional. There's Brian Zetch down there.
Counting the ACC tournament in the postseason. 5-2 FSU.
How big was that home run?
Well, anytime the opposition scores, Mike Martin always likes to come back and try and get a few runs, and they pitch carefully to Drew here, and he'll head down to first. I think Mike Martin always feels that's key. Most coaches in general would. If the other team scores, come back and try and get right back and put a run or two on the board to make up for it. Try and steal some of the life out of their momentum.
Florida State playing its best baseball in the home stretch, and particularly in that Atlantic Coast Conference Championship Tournament where they went in the #3 seed and had to battle back after being just absolutely clobbered by Georgia Tech on Friday night. Had to win 2 on Saturday and then had to beat Tech on Sunday to bring home the hardware.
One down for Eddie Martinez-Esteve, and he gets out of the slump he's been in with a rip to left. And there's runners at first and second.
Yeah, his second base hit of the regional. He was 1 for 12 when he came to the plate. And he hits one right on the nose.
Remember his last swing, though, he took it to the warning track. Yeah. And last 2 swings for Eddie Martinez-Esteve have looked pretty solid. And Drew Butera heads out to try to calm down Boardwine. And haven't seen Cozart, the pitching coach, come out yet.
But as you alluded to, the job of Boardwine is to just eat up some innings, try to get some strikes.
Try to keep your team in it and turn it over to the next guy.
Yeah. It's almost down to when you have to come out of the loop. Here comes Cozart, the pitching coach, and this probably could be it for the freshman right-hander making his first career start, Brett Boardwine. Let's see how they play it. Florida State leads 5-2. In the bullpen, Matt Rhodes continues to loosen. He's looking out to see if he's going to get called in. A long talk on the pitcher's mound. The whole infield in around the pitcher, and that'll be it. Boardwine is going to head to the shower. There will be a reliever out of the UCF bullpen. And Florida State, with runners at first and second, will have Aaron Cheeseman coming to bat.
So a pitching change made as UCF goes into its pen. FSU leading by 3 and rallying back to Tallahassee after this. We welcome you back to Tallahassee. FSU leading 5-2 over the University of Central Florida, and Boardwine is through. Matt Rhodes called upon to try and keep this thing close. The Knights certainly in striking range, as they've proven all weekend, although FSU has a little bit of a rally going right now with the #4 hitter due up and runners on first and second. It's been a long weekend for UCF. They've spent a lot of time in the dugouts at Dick Howser Stadium. 18 1/3 innings pitched for Rhodes this year. Only 2 walks allowed and 14 strikeouts. I would say 7-1 on the strikeout to walks ratio is not too shabby.
Pretty good. In fact, excellent. Well, 3 of the 8 base hits surrendered by Brett Boardwine were out of the ballpark, home runs. It's been the long ball that has hurt UCF today. The Seminoles with 17 home runs in the Tallahassee Regional. You see the numbers on Matt Rhodes, 2 and 3 on the season. Right-handers, those about 3/4.
Catch the all-new Chevy Florida Fishing Report Thursdays on Sunshine. Host Whit Watson and Captain Rick Murphy deliver up-to-date news and information about what's biting and where. Plus live reports from boat captains covering 7 Florida regions. Chevy Florida Fishing Report Thursdays at 7, only on Sunshine.
Rhodes, 13 appearances during the regular season, all in relief, and this will be his first appearance in the Tallahassee Regional.
Aaron Cheeseman stands in and takes strike 1. Cheeseman singled and scored and then struck out looking as he was fooled his last time up. FSU looking to add some insurance. They've already got 1 run back that UCF scored in the bottom of the 3rd. Of course, UCF's looking at it and saying the catcher's up there. Let's induce a double play ball. This one towards the gap in right center. Not enough. It is over Kevin Richmond's head. And Drew is going to be waved home. Eddie Martinez-Esteve into 3rd. And it's a double for Aaron Cheeseman. An RBI double, and the rally continues. I thought Kevin Richmond had it measured out there, and he did too.
Third base hit of the inning. Cheeseman, the cleanup hitter, comes through. New pitcher, same result for the Seminole batters. Cheeseman kicks that leg and hits it toward the gap, right center field. Richmond on his horse. And you're right, it looked like he may have had that measure, but you know, playing right field with the sun in your face is a little difficult this time of day, and that could have been the problem.
Well, and he took a bad angle at it. If he takes another step back or two, just misjudged. And Aaron Cheeseman with the big double right there. And now 2 more runners in scoring position for Ryan Malone, and FSU with a chance to do something they haven't done all weekend, and that's break it open a little bit against the University of Central Florida. You got a lefty up. The infield is in for UCF. They don't want to see this lead grow for FSU. You can see the shortstop barely onto the dirt. Fouled off. 0-2, and Malone quickly in a hole.
Ryan Malone awarded the Florida Diamond Club Player of the Year honor as a senior at P.K. Young School in Gainesville. And his career, P.K. Young, a contender year in and year out. Florida State may be building a team around these freshmen in the order, and Ryan Malone and Shane Robinson and Dennis Anderson, all 3 starters in the Tallahassee Regional.
0-2, a big chance here for Rhodes. And this one is smoked, and it's off the glove at first. Another run is in. And it'll be runners at the corners for FSU. Chandler Rose thought he had it. I mean, that ball was tattooed, but it was an atom ball, and Rose just couldn't close the mitt.
Yeah, you better look at that mitt. You better look at that mitt and see if there's a hole in it, the way that thing was hitting. Again, that right side of the infield and the right field, you got shadows out there on the bag. Kevin Richmond had problems trying to chase down Cheeseman's hit, and this shot a rocket right at the first baseman. And I don't know whether the sun came into play or not. Check that glove.
I don't think he saw the ball very well. You could kind of see the way he stabbed at it. He was hoping it wasn't coming right at his head. I think you're right. He was positioned right at the line where the shade and the sun meet. Runners at the corners, and it's now 7-2 FSU.
Florida State has done something they haven't done against the University of Central Florida in this ball game, and that is produce a 3-spot in the frame.
And the guys in the key hitters are doing it. Drew Martinez and Aaron Cheeseman were 6 for 36 in the first 3 games. They're 4 for 6 in this game. Runner is going, and this one is right to the hole. Runner turns and will head to third, and another run comes home on the base hit by Matt Sauls, who is now 3 for 3. The home crowd comes alive, and FSU has broken it open on the Golden Knights.
Matt Rhodes has not been a mystery to Seminole hitters. On in relief here in the 4th for starter Brett Boardwine. And it's been 1, 2, 3, a hit parade for the Seminole. This is a good piece of hitting by Matt Sauls here. Senior experience. The pitch is down and away. He golfs at it and slaps it into right field. How about that?
3 for 3 for Sauls, and there's still just 1 out in the inning. Last 6 batters have reached for FSU. 5 hits and a walk, 4 runs in the inning, and Gibbs Chapman stands in there now. Runner at third. Runner going. This is a base hit. Smashed to right field. Another run home. Chapman makes the turn at first and will hold up. They're still at the corners, and it's 9-2 FSU.
Florida State in this NCAA regional tournament not really hitting the ball all that well on their home field, but here in the 4th inning, it's been a nightmare for UCF.
Well, FSU had 7 hits in the whole first game against UCF. They have 6 hits in this inning. And this is what we've talked about all along. When you get into the losers bracket, you just run out of arms. And that's not a knock on Matt Rhodes or on Brett Boardwine. They just haven't pitched a whole lot.
Knowles had 21 hits in their first 3 regional outings. They've got a dozen in this game.
And a 9-2 lead. Runner going again. Why not? And Gutierrez can't come up with the ball. That's 3 times in a row that FSU has sent the runner on the first pitch. Gibbs Chapman steals second. Takes off the threat of a double play as FSU is now batted around with its 9th hitter, Shane Robinson, standing in there. This inning started harmlessly enough when Dennis Anderson flew out to right field. 2 more big ducks on the pond for FSU in scoring position. I have the feeling that Shane Robinson, before his career is through, as we look at the UCF bullpen, and Mike Mercadante is just awaiting the sign. I think Shane Robinson is going to endear himself as one of the all-time fan favorites for FSU, the way he plays the game.
What a tremendous play he made in game 1 today, in chasing down a fly ball and knocking himself out as he made the grab up against the wall. Plays like that earned him MVP at the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship Tournament. He continues to play at a championship level, doesn't he?
5 runs home in the inning as that one comes inside and hits him, and the bases are loaded.
Knowles has batted around here in the 4th. 3rd hit batsman in this game.
Well, he did it in the ACC tournament. He's done it all year long, and he did it earlier today. UCF had the go-ahead run on base, and watch what Robinson does. All out, makes the catch for out number 3, and just about knocks himself out running into the wall. He was down for some time, but stayed in the game, and now is on first base as FSU has its biggest inning of the weekend going right now.
That catch robbed Chandler Rose of a 2-base hit and another RBI. Well, everybody's getting a swing at the pitch, isn't he?
FSU with 5 runs has already broken it open, but they've got a chance to do even more damage. The base is juiced. Dennis Anderson 1 for 2 today.
Again, the big inning has really paid big dividends for the Seminoles. 5 or more runs 16 times in the regular season.
You know, last weekend when FSU lost to Georgia Tech in the ACC tournament, I mean, they played better after going into the losers bracket. Played with that resolve, backed against the wall, and won 3 games out of the losers bracket to capture the ACC tournament. He waved at it, but not quite enough. They don't even appeal down to first, and it's ball 1. Anderson singled and scored in the 2nd. Here's the 1-2. This time he does go too far, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. And Dennis Anderson so far has made both outs in this inning, and that's not something you want to hang your hat on. Although I'm sure he'd be happy to get an opportunity to make the 3rd out, because that would mean FSU would have batted around again.
That is the first batter that Matt Rhodes has retired since coming on in relief here in the 4th for starter Brett Boardwalk. And he got him swinging for the pitch that was out of the strike zone.
This one is to left field. It is skied, but is it going to stay in the yard? D. Brown at the wall makes the catch and robs a grand slam. Brian Zetz thought he had his 2nd home run of the inning, but Brown had just enough real estate to haul it in. He kept backing up, felt for the wall, and Zetch robbed. What a great catch. Still, the Noles lead big. Florida State leads UCF 9-2. 12 hits for FSU as they break out the big bats and break open this game against UCF, although the Golden Knights have shown that they have the propensity to battle back. They've done it all weekend long. Chandler Rose, Kevin Richmond, and Drew Butera, 6, 7, and 8, due up against Brian Schultz, who was in the dugout for some time. And we are joined right now by FSU Director of Athletics Dave Hart, who is always pacing around when FSU's playing, although I think he's breathing a little easier after that last inning. This one to right field, where it will be handled out in the pasture by Matt Sauls.
This is a rough time of the day to be a right fielder. We saw some problems Kevin Richmond had back in the top of the 4th inning, and Dave Hart, you have done a marvelous job at coordinating all the building that's going on around this athletic facility here, particularly Dick Howser Stadium, but you couldn't do anything about that sun when it goes down for the right fielders, could you?
No,
I know you're probably trying to figure out how to do that.
I tell you, the guy who's done a great job is Bernie Waxman.
That's just a solid single up the middle for Kevin Richmond. And Schultz appears to be okay off of that one.
It's hard to get comfortable watching Central Florida. Because they're such a good baseball team. You know, we start out 3-0, 3-0. We hang on to win 3-2. We get beat in the 2nd game. You just simply can't relax the way they hit the baseball.
Well, with a 9-2 lead, you're still not going to relax.
No, I'm not. No, I'm going to let that up to you and Tom. I can't relax, Gene.
You know, baseball is a game. It's what makes it the national pastime and such an interesting game to watch, particularly if you come to a beautiful stadium like Dick Howser. But there's so many nuances that go on in a baseball game. I mean, you just almost have to be at the ballpark to experience or watch on television with about 4 or 5 different replays, as Director Bill Moore has been giving us on some of these great plays that we've seen in the outfield today.
This one is grounded towards Drew. Over to second for one, and they make the turn. It is a 6-4-3 double play.
Dave, we're not going to run you off now. That was too quick of an inning. We got a lot more to talk about, don't we?
I'd be happy to go another inning with you. Although I tell you, I'd like to see real quick innings from here on, Gene.
We'll chat more with Dave Hart. The Seminoles turn 2. They lead big. 9-2, top of the 5th. Stephen Drew, Eddie Martinez-Esteve, and Aaron Cheeseman as we welcome you back. And FSU Director of Athletics Dave Hart is still with us. And Dave, we're going to watch Stephen Drew step in here. And obviously, sports are about team and team success and those kind of things. But particularly in baseball, you have a chance to watch some talented athletes, very talented. And we've seen JD and now Stephen Drew come through. And it's always a pleasure to watch an athlete like that. We see a lot on the football field, too, with some of the great players that have played here.
And they're all just smooth would be a good word to use, Tom. They're just so fluid. And Stephen has all of those attributes. Obviously, he's been considered as the #1 overall draft choice. We've been blessed with talent here and tradition.
Here's a look at some of those first-round picks. John Ford Griffin was fun to watch him swing. And J.D. Drew, of course, went twice, once to the Phillies and once to the Cardinals in the first round. Paul Wilson enjoying a resurgence to his career this year, which is nice to see. And here is Stephen Drew standing in, and this one to left field now. Brown goes back.
Goodbye.
But it's not coming back, and Stephen Drew has homered for the 3rd time today.
And that's just fair balls. You can't count those foul ball home runs.
He's hit 3 foul home runs, too.
Well, the home runs just keep on coming for the Seminoles. That's the 4th of the game. And for Stephen Drew, his 2nd. And if this is, in fact, his final game at Dick Howser Stadium, it'll be one to remember. And Dave, that's the sad thing, is these great athletes come through and they play so well in the garnet and gold. And when you get that phone call on Major League Draft Day and you're a top 3 pick, you've got to go.
You really do, Gene, and everybody understands that. I think certainly Mike's been great about that, and our fans understand that. And as I said, we've been blessed. We've had a lot of great baseball players come through Florida State.
Eddie Martinez-Esteve, pretty good baseball player in his own right, stands in. This is, I guess, the 6th year since the NCAA added the extra regional round and went to the super regionals. It seems to have generated more enthusiasm and interest on the part of fans. What's your thoughts on how that has worked out for
I really
college
like
baseball?
Tom. I agree with you, and I told Charlie Carr, and Charlie's been involved on the committee for some time, and I told him when they were studying that change that I really liked it. I think it has added excitement, and it's added exposure, additional exposure. Oh, hope Eddie's okay. Looks like he is.
That is the 3rd hit batsman. And when it follows a home run pitch, generally the home plate umpire will have a word or two.
You don't see that in college ball as much, though. We saw Stephen Drew get hit earlier after he had homered. I think it has more to do with arms out there that just haven't been trotted out to the mound a whole lot as that one comes inside on Eddie.
Well, there was never a doubt that was high heat inside, and it got him right on the shoulder. He's still rubbing that shoulder out there as he stands at first base. Florida State is having its way with the Golden Knights 10-2.
Well, if you mentioned Charlie Carr as Aaron Cheeseman stands in there, he and the committee will, I guess, reconvene via teleconference tonight to determine the host sites for the super regionals. And that's not necessarily automatically in the scenario that Arkansas doesn't win its regional and FSU wins this one. It's not automatic, I guess, that FSU would host, but maybe all but automatic.
I think that's a good way to describe it. The committee's been very good about consistently putting a high priority on where you're seated, and the higher seeds getting that advantage, and that should be the case.
That second game of Arkansas-Wichita State will start at 7:30 after Arkansas came out of the losers bracket to win the early game. And, you know, the committee only seeds nationally 1 through 8, but Arkansas was the 8th seed, and since FSU's paired up against Arkansas, that basically makes FSU the number 9 seed in the tournament, the way they pair it out.
Well, I don't think that's exactly the case, but certainly, Tom, the way we finished, we closed the gap significantly coming down the stretch of the regular season. And you know, it's funny, when I left the park momentarily to go over to the office after this first game, I thought Arkansas had lost the game. They were down 3 runs. That's the last I heard, and then I got the word that they hit the grand slam to come back and win it.
See, Florida is winning handily over UCLA as the Gators look to advance to the Super Regional round.
Yeah, they jumped all over the Bruins early. They're in the winners bracket. They're the only unbeaten team in the Oklahoma City Regional, and big lead over the Bruins from UCLA. They beat the Bruins 4-3 earlier in that regional. Now, did I understand this right? I think it was published in the Tallahassee Democrat that Wichita State did not extend a bid for a regional, but they extended a bid for a super regional. Is that the way?
And you have that, and you do have that alternative, Gene. You can bid for both or bid for one.
Did Florida State bid for both?
Bid for both. Okay. Yes, and we have done that routinely over the years.
I guess Wichita State, knowing they're not a top 8 seed, they're not going to host a regional, so why bid on something you're not going to host and then go ahead and put the money on the super regional game? They have a great baseball tradition out there.
They have a great baseball tradition and a very nice stadium, Gene. They've done well over the years, and you can see it when you go to their ballpark.
Cheeseman with a nice job of hitting and shows patience, and then just sneaks that past the glove of Matt Ray, and there's runners at first and second now, and still nobody down in this inning.
14th base hit of the game. The Seminoles lead 10-2, and we're talking with Director of Athletics Dave Hart. In the 5th inning, Florida State adding to their advantage with a solo home run by Drew, and now runners at first and second, still nobody out, and junior Matt Rhodes, who played his junior college ball about 2 miles away from where we're playing today at Dick Howser Stadium over at TCC. He just can't get a guy out, can he?
His coach over there is a former Seminole, Mike McLeod, at TCC, and as Ryan Malone swings and misses. Mike's son Garrett is actually on this UCF baseball team. Not on the postseason roster, but he's still finishing his baseball career down there. Well, Dave, behind us a couple hundred yards sits the Moore Athletic Center, which of course has been expanded and renovated. And I know it's almost like you're waiting for Christmas to get here, because everybody seems a little more excited about it as this one's fouled off. Move-in day is almost here, I guess.
It is, Tom, and everybody is excited. I mentioned Bernie Waxman earlier, and you know, and most of our viewers know, Bernie is an associate athletics director here, oversees our facilities, and he's really done a terrific job over the course of the last 5 to 7 years, because we really took on an aggressive plan to complete many of these facilities simultaneously, and it has taken a lot of work from an awful lot of people and a lot of fundraising. Andy Miller and his staff have done a great job in that area. Maybe we might sneak a couple runs across the plate on that. But
that was just foul.
But we're getting close now to seeing many of those facilities come to fruition that were in that master facilities plan some 7.5 years ago that was built by the administration. And so it's very exciting. That's the biggest piece, the Moore Center. And the last piece in the original master facilities plan, although we still have other facilities that we have not completed. The Aquatic Center is still on the table. We want to do a new track building. That's still on the table. But we're very excited about moving into the new Moore Center.
And there's still some work to be done here at Dick Howser Stadium, too, is that?
Yes, Gene, and what happens when you complete a facility, when we say complete it, it becomes functional. But by the time you're really done with all of your graphics and things that you want to do to bring it to life, I think when people come to Howser, for example, next year, certainly they'll be even more impressed. They'll see more around the stadium, the showcasing of the 12 Atlantic Coast Conference teams and some of the other graphics that are part of that package. And we've got some work to do yet on the field. So you're constantly trying to get it where you want it, and it takes time.
Well, Ryan Malone knew that he had been fooled on that one as he takes the bat and heads back to the dugout for out number 1 in this inning. 1 run home and 2 runners on. And Matt Sauls, who is 3 for 3 today, looking to extend perfection.
Second strikeout thrown by Rhodes. He did give up the homer to Stephen Drew to begin this inning.
And Sauls is now 4 for 4 as he reaches out and lifts this one to left center, and he's going to stretch it into a double, an RBI double. Well, I guess he wants to have a lasting memory of what could be his final performance here at Dick Howser Stadium.
Can't get a whole lot better than 4 for 4 with 3 runs driven in, can you?
And he's got great speed, too, and he made up his mind early. He was going to dig for second.
He hit it right on the nose. Boy, it's been a big day with a stick for that young fella. Matt Sauls, senior from Panama City. Slide didn't need to, as the ball was mishandled by a Golden Knight infielder.
Well, Matt Sauls with his 8th double, he's now achieved a career high in hits in a game. Previous high was 3. He's got 4 hits in this game.
He had just 29 runs batted in coming into Championship Sunday. He's got 3 in this game.
And FSU with 2 more runners in scoring position as Gibbs Chapman stands in.
And still just 1 out.
11-2 FSU, and that Chapman has smoked a few balls down that right field line in this game.
Boy, didn't he make a great catch in the outfield in the last inning, 2 innings ago?
There's been some great catches, Gene, by our outfielders throughout the weekend.
We've just seen some good baseball in this Tallahassee Regional. It's amazing when you get to postseason play how good the baseball becomes.
Yeah, it really is. Very true. True around the country.
The pitching is better.
What's going to happen, Dave, as Miami comes into the ACC and Virginia Tech in terms of, and then eventually Boston College after that, in terms of the ACC baseball tournament? Is everybody going to get invited and teams will get some buys, or is that still to be worked out?
Tom, initially, everyone will go to the tournament. And then we just want to see, you know, in theory that sounds great, but we want to see how it looks in practical application. And in an ideal world, you'd want all of your teams to go to all the tournaments, but sometimes that simply isn't practical. But that's how we're going to begin and monitor it and see what the coaches think and see how it works from a fan's perspective and the player's perspective. And we'll make whatever adjustments that are deemed necessary by the majority of the group. But that's the intent to begin play, is that all the teams will participate.
Quite a different look on the faces in the 2 dugouts. There you see Jay Bergman in the home dugout. And his team is down 11-2 to the #1 seed Florida State Seminoles. Over on the other side of the infield, there's the Florida State dugout. You see a lot of happy faces in there.
Fouled off by Chapman, and Subutero was shaken up. Of course, now UCF has some conference changes coming up too, because they've got 1 more year in the Atlantic Sun, and then they go to Conference USA, which I know Jay Bergman's very excited about in terms of the caliber of baseball in that conference. Rice is also moving in there. Rice knows a thing or two about baseball. Southern Miss, Tulane, very good. His ball is held onto, and Chapman is set down swinging.
Well, Central Florida will more than hold their own, Tom. Again, they're an excellent baseball team.
Yeah, Jay Bergman has done a great job during his lengthy tenure.
Yes, he has.
At UCF. Well, Shane Robinson stands in. There's 2 down now. Speaking of Rice, they're going against Texas A&M right now. The bottom of the 6th. Fighting for the right to move on to the Super Regionals. Texas is a lot like the state of Florida. Just about everybody that fields a baseball program is pretty good. There is a 2-out base hit for Shane Robinson. 1 run is in, and here comes another, and FSU has added 2 more runs to its tally with a clutch base hit from Shane Robinson, his 2nd hit today.
And a home run, his first career home run in the 2nd. That's a 2 RBI single in the 6th. And the Seminoles just keep clubbing the baseball around the yard. Tough outing for freshman Brett Borgwine. He was chased in the 4th, and Matt Rhodes has been no mystery to Seminole batters.
Well, and Jay Bergman hasn't gone out and gotten Rhodes yet, and I think that's a little bit of the waving of the white towel, because he just doesn't have that many arms yet left.
This inning began in May, and it's June the 6th. And it began with a solo home run by Stephen Drew.
Dennis Anderson checks his swing there. Well, we saw in the ACC tournament that FSU broke out the big bats in the championship game, and you get in these tournament situations and teams just run out of arms, and that was Georgia Tech that really ran out of arms, and FSU couldn't be denied. waves again, and 2 strikes now, and UCF might be out of this. I think, David, just a quick thought. I mean, when you look at this team and all the guys that Mike Martin had to replace, for FSU to be a few innings from the Super Regional, that's a pretty good job.
I think it's one of Mike's best coaching jobs. Certainly in the nearly 10 years I've been here, I can say that without hesitation. When you go back just a month ago, Tom, we didn't know whether we'd keep our string alive of regional appearances. We really didn't. And to come on as strong as we have and watch these young players grow up, it's been very, very gratifying.
1-2 pitch now to Dennis Anderson, and he fouls this one off, and we'll do it again.
We've had some good leadership too, Tom. I think everybody points to Darren Cheeseman, and rightfully so, in terms of what he's meant to the team in that regard. But the upperclassmen have led. Dutch has had a great year. Obviously, Drew and Eddie have had great years, and that's what college athletics is all about, watching a team come together at the right time, and certainly this baseball team is a great example of that.
Yeah, I think, Dave and Tom, I think I said the 6th inning. It's only the 5th inning. We had the Seminoles bat around in the 4th, and the chicken scratch that I have in front of me misled me. It is just the top of the 5th inning.
I wonder what inning it feels like to the Central Florida players, Gene, because they literally spent the whole day out here. Would they get here at 11 yesterday and finish that game?
Jay Bergman said
midnight. 12:15.
13 hours yesterday, and
it's beginning now, I think, to certainly show. But you have to tip your hat to them. They have really fought gallantly.
Strike 3 called on Dennis Anderson. Dave, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, and thanks for the great job both of you all do for us.
Thanks. Appreciate it very much. FSU 13-2 over UCF as the Golden Knights come to bat in the home half of the 5th. Well, you look at the line score, and 5 in the 4th and 4 in the 5th, and 16 hits in this game after 7 in the first game today. FSU finally woke up at slumbering bats, and UCF now staring at a huge deficit, down 13-2 as the number 9 hitter Cooper stands in there. And Brian Schultz's job is just to throw some strikes right now.
Whole lot easier for a freshman making his first start in an NCAA regional game, isn't it? You got that 13-2 cushion, and you got it on cruise control. And the University of Central Florida has not figured out how to get the Seminoles out easily in an inning.
Souvenir for somebody in the right field bleachers. The Florida Gators are leading 9-0 over UCLA in the top of the 7th, so they're 3 innings away from the Super Regionals. Swung on and missed the first out of the inning as Cooper goes down. The Gridiron Classic Series, showcasing memorable college football games, is back on Sunshine. Saturday, June 12th, we showcase 3 Florida State road games. It begins at noon when Warwick Dunn and Zach Crockett rush for over 100 yards each in FSU's 1994 win over Maryland. Gridiron Classics all summer long on Sunshine.
Well, Brian Schultz has craftily scattered 5 base hits. He's fanned 4 batters, and I'd say he's pitching very well on his first regional start. How could you say anything different?
No, he is, and the butterflies in the stomach tend to go away once you toe meets rubber out there, and then you look at the scoreboard and see the lead, and you know, just put it out there and let the defense like Stephen Drew make plays, and Clay Tempner is retired. 2 down.
Earlier in this ball game, Clay Tempner hit one right at Stephen Drew just like that one, and Drew sort of bobbled it. An error on the play, and this time Drew shows he can handle that shortstop on. Tomorrow morning he's going to get a phone call from somebody in the major league saying, we want you to play and we're going to pay you handsomely for it. What's the first round draft choice think about in terms of dollars and cents? Pretty big number, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a starting point. You think, yeah, it's a pretty big number. Well, there's speculation that Drew would go to the Padres number 1 overall, and they would move him to 2nd because they have another former ACC star, Khalil Green, as their shortstop right now. That, if that worked out, that'd be a pretty good middle infield for a number of years. 0-2, and this one is fouled back.
I thought Khalil Green still had 3 years of eligibility at Clemson.
That's the way opponents feel it about Drew. And, you know, there's those guys, whenever somebody stars as a freshman, it seems like their career is 12 years long.
National Freshman of the Year, Green was.
Lays off of it. 1-2 now.
Central Florida came from behind, manufactured runs, got a 3-spot late, and then got insurance in the 9th to beat Florida State 7-5. Now trailing 13-2. That's a tough hill to climb. And as Dave Hart, who joined us, the director of athletics at Florida State, mentioned just before he departed, he said, you know, it's been a long 2 days for the University of Central Florida. Just in time spent at the ballpark. 13 hours yesterday. Well, and today they get to the ball yard about 12 noon, and here it's nearly 8 o'clock in the East.
And I think you go back and look at it, and really the difference between these two teams it was yesterday when FSU hung on 3-2. It kept their pitching staff fresh, got them here, got them rested last night. A strike 3 is called, and the side is retired. Brian Zetch and the Seminoles have broke out the big bats today. The Noles lead at 13-2 over UCF. Top of the 6th inning. All 9 players in the FSU order have hits, and 8 of them have scored runs. UCF to its 3rd pitcher of the day. They started with Brett Bourdwine, then Matt Rhodes, and now it's Mike Mercadani who is out there. 1-0 on the season, making his 14th appearance. ERA just a shade under 7, and it's his turn now to eat up some outs for UCF, which played so valiantly all weekend long. Mercadani out there, and there's been a couple of other changes as we look at the numbers. 26 hits in 13 1/3 innings, and that's why he hasn't seen more innings, giving up that many hits. It's a new battery entirely because Ryan Bono will catch now. He had been DHing, and Drew Butera, we saw, got shaken up. Dave Lambert at first in place of Chandler Rose. Butera got shaken up. Plus, he doesn't really catch doubleheaders all that often. Normally, when UCF has played doubleheaders, Bono has caught the first game and caught his brother Kyle, and Butera would catch the second game. But in a 13-2 ball game, Butera wearing down. No sense to wear him out. I guess that's the thinking for Jay Bergman.
This is Mercadani's 14th appearance, all but one of those appearances as a reliever. He started against Wagner and earned a victory in that one. He got a save against Mercer in a relief appearance. Just worked the 3rd of an inning there. So he's primarily a spot reliever and occasional starter. He's a junior left-hander.
Well, Brian Zetch had an eventful last inning, to say the least.
I would say so.
As FSU broke it open even further. And this one to right field, and tough play, and it will drop. And Zetch is going to make the turn, but he can't really go anywhere, so it's a base hit for... Well, that almost atones for the fact that he hit the cover off the baseball and was robbed of a grand slam. Here's what happened last time Zetch came up in the 4th inning. Takes this offering and says, hey, that's home run number 8 this season. In the same inning, bases loaded, he thinks he's done it again. It's back, and D. Brown with the rob job at the wall. Almost 2 homers in the inning for Brian Zetch.
D. Brown with an outstanding play in the outfield. We have seen Tempner and D. Brown both play well in the past year for the Golden Knights. Gibbs Chapman and Shane Robinson have had spectacular plays in the outfield for the Florida State Seminoles.
Stephen Drew with a couple of homers in this game, 3 on the day.
And if this is in fact his final game at Dick Howser Stadium, it's one to remember.
It's been a memorable day all around. He does have a couple of errors, but I think people are going to remember the balls that left the yard. Stephen Drew has never hit 3 homers in one game. He's hit 2 homers in a game 6 times. I know his brother hit 3 homers in a game. He did it out in Omaha, as a matter of fact.
The last Seminole to hit 3 home runs in one game. We mentioned this because Drew has 2. Mike Futrell, who is now the Seminole first base coach, had 3 of them against Stanford in February 2002.
Well, Stephen Drew all time, 44 career homers, which is 9th all time in FSU history. There's Mike Futrell. who still plays some professional ball in an independent league. As soon as FSU season is over, he'll go do that. So right now he can tell Stephen Drew he's done something that you never have. The payoff pitch, this one to right center field, but he got under it this time, and it will stay in the yard. And Timpner and UCF retire Stephen Drew.
Yeah, that was a home run swing. Believe me, he wanted to get that third home run in this ballgame.
Well, he'll get another at bat, I would assume, but 9th all-time in career home runs. His brother JD had 69, which is 3rd all-time for FSU. So
number 13 designated hitter Eddie Martinez.
That's what, 113 home runs from the Drew family in FSU history.
From Hayhire, Georgia, the 3 Drew boys from Hayhire: JD, Tim, and Stephen.
Tim had signed at FSU but was drafted in the 1st round and never played here at Florida State. Eddie Martinez Esteve stands in there. He has struggled this weekend but gotten his stroke back a little bit in this game. Scored a couple of runs, hit one to the warning track, and has a single. He takes a strike.
Mercandani's got some pretty good stuff. You wonder if maybe Jay Bergman might have left Matt Rhodes in a little too long.
There's strike 2.
Because the only hit he surrendered, Zatch sort of looped one into right field and sort of dropped in between 3 defensive players running after it, trying to make the grab. He gets Drew to pop up, and he's throwing strikes. But it's one of those situations, you know, you just don't have enough arms when you got to battle out of the losers bracket. Boy, it was a nightmare when you had those 16 regionals.
Way inside Eddie Martinez Esteve. It'll be interesting to see where Eddie gets picked in the draft as Florida's opened up its lead 10-zip. Remember, Eddie was a high pick that turned down a lot of money coming out of high school to play at FSU.
Well, his father was quoted as saying that this would be his final year at FSU. He's going to turn 21 years old in early July, and there's a little period of grace period in there the NCAA will allow you. The rules are that if you turn 21, you're eligible for the draft unless you're a junior college player. There's all sorts of ways to work around the rules to be eligible, draft eligible.
This one to right center field. Kevin Richmond goes back and plays it off the wall. And Mike Martin Jr. is waving the arm. And here comes another run off the double, an RBI double for Eddie Martinez Esteve.
Well, that one just kept going and going. I really thought I had a chance to get out of the ballpark, and then I saw Richmond sort of jump back like he said, I've got this measured. It's not going to get out of the park. I better get back and play it off the screen. And that gives you a little idea that he was a Seminole, knows how tough it is to play the pasture in right field. I think Eddie Martinez Esteve thought he may have hit it out of the ballpark as well.
Well, he's hit 2 balls today. This one to right center and one to left that just missed being home runs.
Yeah, watch Richmond. He knew he couldn't climb that thing. It wasn't going to get over that 30-foot fence out there, and so he started backpedaling, get ready to play the ricochet. He's got a little home field advantage that other Central Florida outfielders don't have. He played as a Seminole before transferring to UCF.
81 RBI on the season now for Eddie Martinez Esteve, and that takes some work to learn how to play that screen out there. UCF has had plenty of opportunity this weekend because they played here so much. So the cleanup hitting Aaron Cheeseman stands in there. Cheeseman with 3 hits and 4 at bats. He scored 3 runs.
A bloop single by Brian Zetch, and he comes all the way around from first to score.
You know, that Florida score, I would assume, is going to hold up, and that's going to pit Florida against Miami in the Super Regionals next weekend. I would assume that'll be in Coral Gables because Miami's a high national seed. Those teams played in Coral Gables already this year.
Miami joining the Atlantic Coast Conference in all sports, beginning with the kickoff of the college football season on September the 6th, when Florida State travels to the Orange Bowl to take on the Hurricanes. Team that beat the Seminoles twice last year, once in the mud and rain in Tallahassee and once in the Orange Bowl. Seminole faithful have been looking forward to that September 6th date for a while now, as have Hurricane fans.
3-1 the count, and Cheeseman lays off, and he will stroll on down to first. Runners at first and second now, as FSU has scored in every inning but the third.
Scored big in the fourth, big in the fifth.
Number 3, first baseman Ryan Malone.
Wichita State leading Arkansas 2-1. The winner of that game plays the winner of this game in the Super Regionals. At a site as of yet to be determined. But if Arkansas wins, it'll be in Arkansas, and if FSU wins, it'll be here. That's all but official. If it's against Wichita State, that is.
Wichita State has submitted a bid. We heard Dave Hart say the Seminoles have submitted one as well.
Ryan Malone, part of the foundation for FSU teams to come. When Drew and Martinez-Esteve clear out, and Brian Zetch will have Cheeseman and maybe, I guess Cheeseman wouldn't be guaranteed. He's obviously draft eligible as well and has hit the ball well this year. But you have Ryan Malone, Gibbs Chapman perhaps, and whoever else Mike Martin and Jamie Shute bring in next year.
Tony Ritchie left after his junior year, drafted last season, an All-American catcher for the Florida State Seminoles. And you know, it's amazing that both Tony Richmond and Aaron Cheeseman came in the same year. Cheeseman took a redshirt year because he knew he wasn't going to get a whole lot of playing time with Tony ahead of him, Tony Ritchie. And that redshirt season was a great benefit both for Aaron Cheeseman and for the Florida State Seminole baseball team.
Yeah, Cheeseman has been terrific this year for FSU. Handled a very young pitching staff and handled the bat very well too. The 2-2 fouled off by Ryan Malone. Still a pretty good number of fans on hand in a game that is 14-2 right now in favor of FSU.
Seminole pitching has been outstanding in this regional, except for the last 3 innings in today's first game when UCF came from behind. But how about Eddie Cannon's complete game on Friday? And then yesterday, James Rhett got the start, 6 1/3 innings of no-hit ball, and then an outstanding relief performance by Matt DeBlasi. Came in and retired.
Well, and
6 of the 7 batters he faced.
You know, you look at it, I mean, the guys we saw pitch today will be the future rotation for FSU perhaps, because Rhett James and Eddie Cannon will be gone after this year, and Sauls and Brian Schultz will be key arms for FSU next year.
They got another young arm that they thought was going to be able to be a weekend starter this year, Glenn Simon, who had to undergo surgery and is gone. And Hunter Jones midway through the season. In fact, the weekend we were in Clemson to do a broadcast from Clemson. He tried to go on a Friday and came out lame, and surgery the next week, and he'll miss the rest of the season obviously, but should be ready to go next January when the Noles get ready to begin season 2005. Season number 58 of college baseball here in Tallahassee.
Count has gone full to Ryan Malone. Runners at first and second. And that one fouled off.
Trying to get out of the way of that inside fastball, Malone, it hit the bat. Now you think that happens all the time. Last night in the Oklahoma State Central Florida game, that same thing happened. Watch, trying to get out of the way and it hit the bat. Last night, an Oklahoma State batter trying to get out of the way. The ball hit off the bat. It was behind him. It hit off the bat, landed in fair ground. 2 runs scored because there were 2 outs.
This one by Malone is tattooed to right field. Fair foul. It's a fair ball, and it's a home run for the freshman from Gainesville. A 3-run jack for Ryan Malone, his second homer of the day.
Building a team around freshmen, and number 3 is one of the best of the land. Ryan Malone from Gainesville. Never a doubt when he hit it. I guess you don't tell stories about bunt doubles with 2 outs to drive in the tying runs when a guy like Malone's at the plate, huh?
No, it was a good story and a good swing for Malone right there. Great high school hitter, and is really, I think he's going to be a very good hitter throughout his college career. He's been over 300 his whole freshman year.
Boy, big numbers in the last 3 frames. 5 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, and 4 more here in the 6th. They want a curtain call. Ryan Malone. He's a freshman. Does he know what he's supposed to do?
That's the 12th hit. He knows. 7 RBI in the tournament for Malone as Matt Saul stands in there. Now, Saul's all he's done is 4 for 4 today. So he's trying to keep a perfect day intact. He's behind 0-2 as he takes ball 1. 17 runs last week on Sunday against Georgia Tech to win the ACC tournament, and 17 runs right now for FSU, trying to win a regional tournament. Inside, the count evens. Swing and a miss, and there goes perfection as Sauls goes down.
Well, I hadn't left you, partner, but I was trying to go through the card. 5 home runs in the game.
I was just going to count that up.
Drew hit 2. Robinson got his first career home run. Zetch has one, almost had a grand slam to boot. And Malone just went yard here in the 6th inning. 5 round trippers.
And now Mike Martin's really going to drive us crazy with the scorecard.
Number 17,
Brant Peacher is going to get an at-bat in place of Gibbs Chapman. And the fun will start as we work on our chicken scratch. Last time FSU hit 5 homers in a game was May of last year at Georgia Tech. Coincidentally, Stephen Drew had 2 home runs in that game. See what Peacher can do right here as that one skips up there. Peacher, a 6'2", 200-pound freshman from Milton, over by Pensacola.
Now Chapman was playing in left field. Peacher will probably move into the outfield. In the last 3 innings, I'm going to pencil him in right now. See if Mike Martin
You're
has
living on the edge.
I know. There's a good look at a guy that's got a lot of potential. For Milton.
This one on a line, but right at Kevin Richmond, and the side is retired. But not before 4 more runs come home, including 3 off the bat of Ryan Malone with this big 3-run blast to right. It's all Noles in Tallahassee. Don't adjust your set. You're reading correctly. 17 runs on 19 hits. This FSU team had 21 hits in the 3 previous games this weekend and has 19 in this championship game against UCF. Some defensive changes. Dana Wardell will go into play first base for Ryan Malone, who just hit that 3-run homer. And Brant Peacher, we saw pinch hit. He's now in at left in place of Gibbs Chapman. And everybody's going to go down the bench and get everybody a chance to play now.
You got David Mann pinch hitting here in the bottom of the 6th inning. He started game 1.
He's out of Columbus, Georgia. Same high school as Frank Thomas. I remember Frank Thomas coming to Tallahassee when he played for Auburn. He was the biggest human being playing first base I'd ever seen. This one is grounded to second base. Zetch waits on it and retires David Mann. So 1 up, 1 down, and D. Brown's work is done. I'm still not sure I wouldn't vote D. Brown the MVP of this regional, although with FSU winning so handily here, be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Well, the Florida State Seminoles as a team it's almost a complete turnaround. The top of the order was just absolutely buffaloed in the first 3 ball games the Seminoles played. Martinez Esteve had worn the collar. He was like 1 for 12 at one point before he finally got that stick working. Stephen Drew had not hit an extra base hit. Struck out 3 times on Friday against BCC.
2 up, 2 down.
You may want to look at one of these Seminole pitchers if you're looking for an MVP of this tournament. Eddie Cannon on Friday. Schultz has done a masterful job today, but hey, who wouldn't with a 15-run lead? I mean, you and I might be able to pitch.
Well, Stephen Drew's going to get some votes too. I mean, he didn't play well Friday, but he had a couple hits yesterday and he has 3 homers today. So
2 home runs in this ball game alone.
Does have a couple of errors defensively.
Hey, 3 home runs in one day. That's pretty good.
Bernhard 1 for 2. He had the big hit yesterday for UCF as the Golden Knights were rallying on FSU. This will be the 3rd time in the last 5 seasons that UCF has come up 1 game short of the Super Regionals. Swing and a miss, and Schultz is just mowing them down. 3 up, 3 down, and he's retired the last 7 batters he's faced. The Noles are cruising to the Super Regionals up big. 17-2 FSU, final third of the ball game to go as the Noles are leading big. Hey, the Tampa Bay Lightning have forced the biggest game in all of sports, the final and decisive Game 7, as they return to Tampa in their quest for Lord Stanley's Cup. Tomorrow night, Sunshine Network will have extensive pregame coverage live from the St. Pete Times Forum of this all-important matchup. Pregame coverage between Tampa Bay and Calgary begins at 6:30 with Whit Watson, Sandy Penner, and Sports Talk Live. Then at 7:30, it's Paul Kennedy, Rick Peckham, and the Chief Bobby Taylor will have pregame interviews and commentary during Toyota Lightning Ice Time. Then tune to Sunshine Network immediately following the game for Beef O'Brady's postgame, live postgame reports and interviews with players and coaches only on Sunshine Network. It has been an unbelievable turnaround for Tampa Bay over the last couple of years. Congrats to John Tortorella and company as David Mann moves into left after he pinch hit for D. Brown. And 1 game to go for the Lightning, and they will own Lord Stanley's Cup. 3 innings to go here, and FSU will own another regional championship. And to take us down the home stretch, once again, Gene Deckerhoff.
A couple of big seasons for Tampa Bay area fans. The Lombardi Trophy won by the Buccaneers in 2002, and 1 win away for the Lightning to bring Lord Stanley's Cup to the Bay Area as well. Shane Robinson grounds out to begin the Seminole 7th inning. 1 away. The pitcher, number 3 on the day in Game 2, Mike Mercandante. Mercandante was treated rudely in the 6th, this first inning of work, as the Seminoles got a home run, a 3-run homer by Ryan Malone, and 3 other base hits, including a double by Eddie Martinez Esteve. The batter is batter number 9 in the order, Dennis Anderson. And Anderson, 1 for 4 this afternoon, has struck out the last 2 times he's come to the plate. Both of those strikeouts against reliever Matt Rhodes. He's looking at the left-handed offerings of Mike Mercandante for the first time. 17-2. And a young lady leads the Noles cheer.
Yeah, even the youngsters. Well, somebody, Mongo's got to pass the torch to somebody someday, I guess.
Dennis Anderson, and then back to the top of the order. And if Brian Zetch bats, and we figure he will, he'll be, well, let's see if in the on-deck circle if we've got a pinch hitter coming in for Zetch. But Zetch has worn out UCF pitching today. He has a 3 for 5 day going, including a home run and a couple of singles. And Anderson draws a walk. And the Seminoles have a base runner again. Brandon Manasseh will be a pinch hitter for the Seminoles here in the 7th inning. Brandon, a switch hitting infielder, a sophomore from Miami Southridge High School.
Now batting number 6, Brandon Manasseh.
Florida State has out hit the Golden Knights 19-5.
Manasseh hasn't played a whole lot. Remember last year in the Super Regionals, he got pressed into duty when Stephen Drew was hurt. And, okay, Brandon, Texas is coming to town, the defending champs, and you got to play short because our best player's out.
Manasseh has played in 1 game. He was a pinch runner earlier in the tournament. In fact, that was in Game 1 today. And this is his first plate appearance. There you look at Brandon. Florida State started early with a pair of runs in the first, 2 more in the second. And then the wheels fell off of the UCF wagon as Florida State plated 5 runs in the 4th hung up a pair of crooked numbers in the 5th and 6th and lead by a ton, 17-2 in the 7th.
Remember last week when FSU played North Carolina in the ACC tournament, several players had been suspended by Mike Martin, and FSU wound up winning anyway in the losers bracket, playing 5 guys or without 5 key guys. Brandon Manasseh got in the lineup that day, and FSU beat North Carolina.
Mike Martin, well, the sleeves are a little longer on that t-shirt, aren't they? Manasseh's hot shot to third can't be handled. And Florida State has runners at first and second. Stephen Drew has had this kind of day. This was in game 1. See you later. That hit my motorhome out there in the parking lot, I think. And here's another towering blast. This one I didn't think was going to get out of there. It just climbed over that 30-foot fence. And here's home run number 3. He's got 2 in today's second game. That one over the fence in left center field. And Florida State has used the long ball to build a 15-run lead over the University of Central Florida. Championship Sunday, game number 2, and it's nearly dark at the ballpark.
See the career numbers for Stephen.
44 career home runs. JD's younger brother. I should say his youngest brother. Looks in, awaits Mercandati's bender, and it's down and away. Ball 2, 2-1. Drew's home runs have come off Boardwine, the starter, and Matt Rhodes, who relieved him. And this is his second look at the left-handed offerings of Mike Mercandati. He hit a fly ball to right center field when he faced him for the first time. It's another towering blast back toward the track in deep center field. And Clay Tempner has it measured and chases it down. Boy, Stephen Drew gave it a ride to the...
The crowd oohed and awed because they thought he might have gotten one, and he just missed it.
Standing ovation by the fans in Section B, as that might have been Stephen Drew's last plate appearance at Dick Howser Stadium as a player. 17-2 and another pitch here to do.
Well, Stephen Drew makes what may be his last plate appearance, and Rhett James, a pitcher for FSU, is going to make what has to be about his first plate appearance for FSU. Actually, I beg your pardon, he's 0 for 2 this year, and James said he would be ready to pitch in this game if needed. He's got that same bulldog look on his face as he stands in there with a chance to hit.
Well, you said that, I didn't. And that's a bulldog swing. 0-1. Rhett James pinch hitting for Eddie Martinez Esteve, the Seminole DH, which means that Rhett James doesn't have to go out and play a field position, and he can still stay in the lineup. Rhett James, 6 1/3 innings of no-hit ball yesterday, and he earned the victory. De Blasi got the save for the Seminoles. They knocked UCF into the losers bracket. See if he can get a base hit. Just about everybody else has today in a Seminole uniform. Hits it, loops it, right center field. Guess what? The no-hit guy has got at least one, and he'll head towards second base. Rhett James with a double that drives in 2 runs. What do you say, Rhett James? 19-2.
And finally, the big smile on the face for Rhett James. How about that?
A pinch hit double that drives in a pair. And the chant of Rhett goes up at Dick Howser Stadium.
You know, as he goes down to first, he raises his hand here as if he had just hit a game-winning home run. It's 17-2 when he did that.
No, when you're a pitcher and you get the ball into play, you're doing high fives. Danny Diaz will be another pinch hitter. Here's Rhett James at second base with a stand-up double.
Well, see, unlike Babe Ruth, who pointed before he hit, Rhett James waited until after he saw that he had a hit and then gave it a point.
Rhett James, a senior from Pensacola, Via Pensacola Junior College. There's number 22, and you're right in the middle of your picture. And he's got a 2-out double that drives in a pair of runs. And Danny Diaz is the batter. He bats for Aaron Cheeseman.
Another Miami kid like Brandon Manasseh. Big frame, 6'3" kid behind the plate.
That's a big cut and a big miss. 0-2, 2 outs. Mercandante probably a little upset that he gave up a double to an opposing pitcher that doesn't get that many swings of the bat.
Yeah, I don't believe James hit in junior college. I mean, he was a pitcher that threw about every other day.
Don't see anything in the material we have, and I've been looking through it to see if he had driven in a couple of runs anytime during his career in college. It doesn't say anything about hitting at Pensacola Junior College. Diaz watches one down and in. Ball 2, 2-2. Florida State kicking UCF, and Florida is bouncing around the Bruins of UCLA.
So Florida and Miami in the Super Regionals next weekend.
Rhett James's first base hit of the season. He's now 1 for 3.
Wichita State leading Arkansas. So if that score and this score hold up, chances are Wichita State would be in here next week. And that'd be interesting because last year, remember, Texas came in and you had
the defending champions
and a guy that's won about 12,000 ball games in his career.
He became the winningest college baseball coach with that victory in Game 2 of the Super Regional.
And then if Wichita State comes here, you'll have Gene Stevenson come in, who is much like Mike Martin. He's right up there.
He's the winning active pitcher, winningest active pitcher. There's a looping liner by Diaz, handled on the short grass by Man Ray. And the Florida State Seminoles lead 19-2 midway through the 7th. Let's stand up and stretch as Rhett James gets a standing ovation coming to the dugout. In the inning, the Seminoles plate more runs, extend the lead to 17. As we stand and sing, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. The Florida State faithful that have stayed through a whole day of baseball are enjoying a 17-point advantage by the home team. It's 19-2. Defensively in right field, Derek Smith from Vienna, Georgia, will play the final few innings. And at second base, Brandon Manasseh, who pinch hit for Brian Zetch in the 7th, will man Zetch's position at second base. And a new catcher, Danny Diaz, as well. So Florida State with a 17-run lead, going a little deeper into the roster here on Championship Sunday. But they're sticking with a left-handed hurling of Brian Schultz, who has really done a great job in this decisive game in the Tallahassee Regional. Freshman left-hander. There's a breaking pitch hit high in the air, and no problem for Shane Robinson, although you're at that time of the day where the lights haven't taken over and the sun's going down.
The way Robinson plays defense, though, the lights could be out, and I think he could make the catch.
And if he got a routine fly ball like that, he'd put a blindfold on and still make the play. Schultz has now established a new career, his longest outing of his young career, 6 1/3 innings. And he matches his previous best at Clemson. This will be a new career best as that hot shot comes right back to the hill. And they are quickly 2 down. I think Schultz is thinking complete game. How about you, Tom?
Well, at this point, why not? Eddie Cannon threw one on Friday night. Rhett James pitched very well yesterday. Sauls didn't pitch very badly either earlier today. I mean, he pitched pretty well and then ran out of steam a little bit. Career high innings pitch for Brian Schultz. I think if you look at FSU's turnaround over the last month, what had been an erratic pitching staff or inconsistent pitching staff has gotten much more consistent. They've still given up some runs, but they've done a much better job.
Matthew LaFleur will be a pinch hitter for UCF now in the bottom of the 7th inning. And there's high heat by Schultz. 2 down, nobody on, in a very quiet 7th inning for the Golden Knights. Golden Knights with 47 wins on the year, and boy, that's a towering fly ball deep right center field. It is long gone. Pitch hitting Matthew LaFleur sends one a mile in the air.
That was a no-doubter.
And for the 3rd time this season, Brian Schultz has given up a gopher. And for the 3rd time this year, LaFleur has hit one out of a ballpark. And the sophomore from Chesapeake, Virginia, gets high fives as he comes around home plate and heads toward that home dugout. UCF has not had a whole lot to cheer about in today's ball game. That is something to get up and shout about. 19-3, though, is the score. So Schultz has a 16-run lead.
He took a home run trot, Gene, unlike any that I think I've ever seen.
High in the air, foul ground. Diaz has the putout.
I'll explain that next inning.
So Diaz, who just came into the game as a pinch hitter, backing up Aaron Cheeseman, has a chance to get the pop foul. 19-3 as we head to the 8th. A new pitcher on the hill for Central Florida, and he inherits a 19-3 deficit. It is Derek Abriola, pitcher number 4, used today by skipper Jay Bergman. Florida State just jumped all over starter Brett Bourdwine. Then Matt Rhodes was abused. Mike Mercandante came in, and he had his problems, particularly giving up the home run ball. And now Derek Abriola will come in the top of the 8th inning. There you see Derek. Worked 10 2/3 innings this year. And we knew coming into Championship Sunday, talking with Mark Daniels, who does the radio for the University of Central Florida Golden Knights, it could be Charlie Holstaff today. They got those 2 great starting pitchers, Matt Fox and Kyle Bono. And then after that, well, it's anybody's guess. And Jay Bergman said that on Thursday at the NCAA press conference. There's your final in Oklahoma City. The Florida Gators have gone through the Oklahoma City Regional unscathed and clubbed UCLA into submission today. Florida State beating UCF handily 19-3 here in the Tallahassee Regional. So the Super Regional starting to take shape countrywide, Tom Block, and you're seeing the best in the college baseball game when you get to regional time, and everybody involved in postseason play right now is thinking Omaha, Nebraska. Oh, another hit batsman. That's a handful in this game. And Wardell will go to first base. That one has to hurt. 5 times today, a Seminole hitter has been hit by a pitch.
Well, and again, it just gets away. I mean, it just tails inside. Wardell tried to move and takes it right in the rib cage. And again, I don't think there's been anything intentional about any of the hit batters today by UCF.
Wardell at first base, a hit batsman. Florida State has scored in every inning but the 3rd, as you pointed out earlier. We're in the top of the 8th inning. FSU with a 16-run lead, 19-3, 20 base hits, and a leadoff batter aboard yet another time.
12th time this weekend that FSU has had a hit batter. Remember on Friday night against Bethune-Cookman, the Wildcats really struggled to find the strike zone, and this tournament ending the way it started for FSU with guys getting hit as Derek Smith stands in there.
Derek Smith moved into right field for Matt Sauls in the last half of the 7th inning, and he comes to the plate for the first time. This is a kid that has a heck of a lot of potential. Last year was in the starting lineup more than he wasn't, and all of a sudden that batting average started dropping and dropping and dropping, and it's at 224 now. Good left-handed hitter with power and speed. And early in the season was the Seminole DH. That was when Martinez Esteve was playing a defensive position. Then they moved Martinez Esteve to the DH. Smith was starting in left field, and along comes Gib Chapman, who has had a whale of a season, his first as a Seminole. Derek Abriola finds that strike zone, got the inside corner, and Derek Smith is caught looking. And that is the first out of the inning. One down now, the strikeout with Wardell at first.
Gene, you were talking about the regionals and the super regionals taking shape. I mean, what do you notice about these names here? LSU, Texas, Miami, Georgia Tech, Long Beach State, South Carolina, Florida, FSU. It's the same big powers you think of every year.
Here's a fly ball to deep center field. Back to the warning track, and the play is made. Brent Peacher hit it about as far as you can to this ballpark, but not far enough. A long fly to deep center field that Clay Tempner handles rather easily. Well, to answer your question, it's World Series, perennial World Series contenders. Miami won in '99, in 2001, Texas in 2002. Hey, how about Rice? They were the winners last year and the defending NCAA champions.
And they're still alive in their regional.
You know, Wichita State in 1989, has it been that long ago? Gene Stevenson won his first and only World Series championship. In Wichita State, here's a club right back up through the box into center field. And Shane Robinson has yet another base hit.
And, you know, FSU played Wichita State that year in the World Series, I think 3 times. Beat them the first time, and Wichita State came out of the loser's bracket and beat them twice more and then won the championship.
Third base hit by that young man right there, wearing number 2 on his jersey, Shane Robinson. And the Florida State Seminoles here on the top of the 8th inning have runners at first and second and have a chance to add to a 19-3 lead. It is never a good sign when you hit the leadoff batter. That generally will come back to bite you somewhere where you keep your wallet. 0-1 pitch. This one's fisted into left center field. Another base hit. Dennis Anderson having a good game. His second base hit of the second game. And the Seminoles load him up in the 8th inning.
Well, and if Zetch reaches, Stephen Drew will get another chance with somebody on base somewhere.
This inning began when Danny Wardell was hit. Abriola then struck out Derek Smith, and Brent Peacher hit a fly ball to deep center field. Now back-to-back singles by Robinson and Anderson. And Brandon Manasseh is trying to imitate Brian Zetch. He was trying to hit a home run with that swing. Manasseh reached first base on an error on the third baseman, Marshall Barnard, in the 7th inning. His second plate appearance of the game. And his second appearance at the plate in this NCAA Tallahassee Regional. A ball and a strike to count. Bases loaded, 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. This game began at 1:30. A hot, humid Sunday afternoon. The rain came. We had a 49-minute rain delay in game number 1. UCF winning 7-5. And as the sun has started to go down, it's gotten cooler at Dick Howser Stadium. It's going to be tough for these kids playing a doubleheader this time of the year in the hot sun of the Panhandle. Bender breaks down and in, 2-2. Florida State with 19 runs on the scoreboard.
And 22 hits. They had 21 in the first 3 games and 22 now in this game.
Well, it's win or go home in Championship Sunday in the second game. UCF forced that with a come-from-behind 7-5 win in game number 1 today. And here in the nightcap, it's been all Florida State. FSU jumped in front 4-0 in the first 2 frames. Went scoreless in the third, but have done damage in every inning since. 15 runs in the last 6. Fly ball, center field, and Tempers got it measured. And that'll end the inning. But the Florida State Seminoles have a 16-run lead. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The 2004 NCAA Baseball Regionals on Sunshine Network are brought to you by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. Bell South Answers, more choice of services, all from one company, all on one bill. Bell South, listening, answering. Brand new pitcher on the hill for the Florida State Seminoles as we head into the bottom of the 8th inning. There you get a great view of Dick Howser Stadium. The lights are on, the sun going down, and the Florida State Seminoles are super regional bound, at least it would appear, with a 19-3 lead over the Golden Knights of the University of Central Florida. New pitcher is Frank Radzowan. He's a junior from Palm Beach Junior College. And just like Seminole starter Brian Schultz, he fires from the left side of southpaw. Has a hard fastball. They've clocked it right at 90 miles an hour, and he comes from that 3/4 arm delivery. 18 starts in junior college ball, and notched his first Florida State win against JU. There's a fly ball, shallow center. Robinson waits, makes the squeeze, and there's one down. Got a new third baseman to tell you about, too. There's Shane Robinson at center field. What a game he has had today. Knocked himself cuckoo in the first game, robbing somebody of an extra base hit. There's Kevin Lynch playing third base. He was a relief pitcher in the first game today, a reliever yesterday, and now doing duty at the hot corner. Is that punishment?
Well, he probably lobbied for that after Rhett James got an at-bat. Lynch actually went his freshman year, in addition to pitching, he played some outfield. Matter of fact, was a starting left fielder when that year began.
There's a line drive gapper toward left center, and giving chase, Derek Smith. And the Georgia Peach sags it down. Have a big stand-up and howdy-do by his family that made the trip down from Vienna, Georgia to watch their favorite Seminole play ball. Nice play in the pasture.
Yeah, that's Brant Peacher, actually.
Peacher, I beg your pardon.
And it's been this kind of day for UCF. FSU, they put in the second string, if you will, and they're making great catches out in the outfield. Good job by Peacher there.
Yes, Smith is in right, I beg your pardon, and Brent Peacher from Milton, Florida, a freshman, is in left field. 2 down now. That looked like a gapper that had extra base hit all over it. Boy, Radzowan with that 3/4 arm delivery is poison on left-handed hitters. 6'1", and when he throws that 3/4 arm thing, it's almost like a crossfire. He comes way from the outside. Those left-handed hitters are worried about that heat chin high and inside, and that bender sails way outside. There's the bender. Strike 3. He struck him out. Well, an easy frame for Frank Radzowan. Easy frame for the Noles. We go to the 9th. It's 19-3 FSU. Florida State 19, University of Central Florida 3. Noles have out hit the Golden Knights 22-6. In the Seminole dugout, you see Stephen Drew, and his jersey's off. His work is done. And our steak and shake play of the game involves the kid that wears number 4 in garnet and gold. His first home run is our steak and shake play of the game. That sort of set the stage for what would follow, Tom Block, as the Seminoles have gone on a home run barrage.
I thought it was important because UCF had stolen the momentum. They had the momentum going into the second game after winning 7-5. And FSU right away in the top of the first inning put 2 runs on the board, that being the first one, and just never looked back from there. It was as if to say, hey, you won this. We're in a winner-take-all deal now, and we're not backing down. And 18 runs later, FSU's got a 16-run lead. Dan Mascoro, the home plate umpire, was motioning. He wanted something changed over there in the Seminole dugout down the first baseline. That is the normal home dugout for the Seminoles here at the renovated Dick Howser Stadium, but NCAA regional rules say the home team has got to be down that third baseline. That's where the Seminoles were in Game 1 today. But here in Game 2, they are the visiting team. UCF will have the last at bat. It's the top of the 9th inning. And Derek Abriola, the 4th pitcher of the afternoon, is working his second inning on the hill against another pitcher in Kevin Lynch, who we saw go in at 3rd. And Lynch actually is 1 for 1 this year.
In the 9th inning, Florida State leading 19-3.
So you've got
Kevin Lynch.
You've got the best guy out of the bullpen for FSU, Kevin Lynch, leading off this inning, and the best starter on FSU's team, Rhett James, due to bat next.
The pitch. This one's hit into center field, but backing up a few steps. And Clay Kempner has the first out of the inning. Well, Kevin Lynch hit it on the nose, but right at the center fielder, and Clay Templer can make plays on either side in the gap, and that was a routine play by the center fielder. Look at the smiles of the Seminole dugout. Florida State knows they're super regional bound, and tell you this, about 2 months ago, there was a lot of doubts whether FSU would make it into postseason play. Boy, Rhett James did not like that high heater. Mike Martin comes out and gets James away, and Jay Bergman and his staff doing the same thing. James thought that chin music was a little too high and tight.
Well, I think what you've got is a case of some pitchers, as I've said, that don't have great command because they haven't pitched a whole lot. But when you talk about Rhett James, he is as intense a competitor as you will ever see. It is 19-3, and he's out there playing as if it's zip-zip. And his at-bat means something in terms of the outcome of the game. And I think that's why James reacted like that. That's just his nature. He's just that. That's why I call him a bulldog. He's that intense.
Rhett James got a 2-base hit that drove in a pair of runs in his first plate appearance. His first base hit as a Seminole. That came in the 7th inning. Mike Martin and Jay Bergman and the men in blue get together and try to calm everybody down.
Well, this is a dynamic you see in National League Baseball where the pitchers have to hit, but you don't see it in the American League or in the college game. Well, sometimes you see it in the college game because there are some pitchers that also hit because they're the team's best player, but more often than not, you don't.
Well, the offering from Derek Abriola sails in toward Rhett James. I don't think it was as close as it looked like the first time. James had some words, and then Ryan Bono, the catcher, has a few words, and the next thing you know, home plate umpire Dan Morosco is keeping everybody away.
Well, look at Mike Martin. Mike Martin says, that's my ace. The first thing he does is get Rhett James out of there because if a punch gets thrown, Rhett James isn't pitching next weekend in the Super Regionals. And he's telling his whole team that about keeping their composure. They can't afford to have somebody get in trouble.
Look at Martin. Finger pointing at everybody on that top step. Florida State leads 19-3. You don't need an altercation here. Mike Futrell must have had a word or two because he's been given the heave-ho. Look out, Mike. And the crowd chants Frenchie. His nickname when he played baseball here, Frenchie Futrell. Mike Martin settling down his team, but he wasn't pointing the finger at his first base coach, was he? Does that mean Jamie Shoop's got to go out and work first base? I guess so. Here he goes.
Gene, in this game, we've seen Stephen Drew hit 2 homers. We've seen a UCF player homer and then trip on his home run trot. We've seen a pitcher for FSU that doesn't hit have a 2-run double, and now we've seen a first base coach get tossed.
Now this inning began, remember, I pointed out, Mascori pointed to the visitor's dugout. Here's a high fly ball, infields, Clay and back pedal. Oh, it's dropped. Matt Ray had it measured, and it bounced off the heel of his glove. When the wheels fall off, they fall off, don't they? That's an error on the second baseman. Good God.
I think the wheels came off a few innings ago.
Rhett James has reached base now twice. Once on a double. It drove in a pair, and here in the 9th inning, he is aboard with an error on a pop fly on the right field side of the infield. Florida State 19, Central Florida 3. FSU is out hit. UCF 22-6 will have a pinch runner. DeCarlo Thompson, a relief pitcher, a rookie, will pinch run for Rhett James. And listen to the crowd respond. His first career base hit, the Pensacola native. Got a double, drove in his first runs as a Seminole. Reached base on an error. And gets a standing O from the fans in Section B. The batter is Danny Diaz, who came in to pinch hit for catcher Aaron Cheeseman, then worked behind home plate in the 8th inning. He pinch hit for Cheeseman in the 2nd and popped up to second base for the final out of the 7th inning. Another hit batter. Abriola's bender doesn't bend. And Diaz, a big fellow, will trap the first 6-hit batsman in this game. And the batter is Danny Wardell. He was hit by a pitch.
Well, the fans are chanting throw him out, but if they throw him out, I don't know if Jay Bergman sends another guy out there to pitch. I mean, he's out of arms.
The inning began with Kevin Lynch hitting a fly ball to center field, and then an error on what should have been a routine put out on a pop fly to second base. A hit batsman, and the Seminoles have a pair of runners aboard in the top of the 9th inning, leading 19-3. 6 hit batters.
The thing I look at with this team, Gene, is, we heard Dave Hart talk about the job Mike Martin did this year. Think about last year's team that had Tony Ritchie, Tony McQuaid, Blake Balkin, Jared Brown, Chris Hart, Matt Lynch, Trent Peterson, Daniel Davidson, Daniel Hodges. Mark Lamaki was out for the year.
High pop fly, fair ground, and the catch. Now the pitcher calls everybody off, and Abriola has a little bit of difficulty keeping his balance 2 away.
But that team had all those players last year, and obviously they were a little injured at the end, but it was a great team. They got to the Super Regionals, didn't get a win, so they came within 2 wins of the College World Series. And this year's team, with a completely overhauled pitching staff and new faces all over the lineup, is going to be 2 wins from the College World Series. I mean, Mike Martin has got his team back to the same exact position they've been in every year that there's been Super Regionals. FSU has been in them.
Umpires now telling both teams to get back in their dugouts. 2 outs at the top of the 9th inning. Pitch gets away from catcher Ryan Bono and crawls all the way back to the screen, and the runners advance to second and third. The batter is Derek Smith, and he's got runners at second and third. Now you caught looking on a called third strike, his first plate appearance back of the 8th inning. A base hit here drives in 2 more. He was trying to go the opposite way, got a piece of it, fouled it back off the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike, top of the 9th inning. Florida State in or out of the Golden Knights, 19-3. That's what they did to the 5th-ranked team in college baseball on Championship Sunday in Salem, Virginia. Just jumped all over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and 1 going away.
Been a couple of good Sundays back-to-back for FSU. 17 runs last week, 19 this week.
I'd say.
The Super Regionals, by the way, they don't all run Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think they split them, and half run Friday to Sunday and half will run Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll know more about that later tonight.
Florida State trying to get to the College World Series, but well, from around these parts, a long dry spell getting to Omaha, Nebraska.
And I talked to Charlie Carr, who, of course, is head of the baseball committee. He said 10:30 tonight is when they'll have their conference call, award the Super Regional sites, and by 11 o'clock that information should be public. Find it on the websites, do some searching, and I don't know if they will have dates and times so much as who's headed where. In other words, who's hosting the Super Regional.
Florida State scored 27 runs against Wake Forest in a 27-3 win in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. There's a strike 3 call. And Derek Smith is caught looking for the 2nd time in a row. That ends the 9th. We go to the bottom of the 9th. It's 19-3 FSU. Well, those totals don't lie. They tell a story of complete change in the way these 2 teams tangled today. In the first game, it was a 7-5 Central Florida win over Florida State. In the nightcap, the decisive game in this double elimination Tallahassee Regional, Florida State 19 runs, 22 hits. University of Central Florida 3 runs on 6 hits. Florida State sailing along in the bottom of the 9th inning. A new pitcher, Hunter Davis, a sidearm throwing right-hander out of Wakulla, Florida, and Florida Community College will come in. There you see number 9's numbers. No wins, no losses. His earned run average a little higher than you'd like, 8.15. This is his 21st appearance as a Seminole reliever. one of the few Seminoles to not have more strikeouts than once. Florida State with a big lead, and Jay Bergman's going to go deeper into the roster. Tim Ford, a catcher on the roster, a junior from Oak Hill School in Gainesville, will be the first batter. Now look at those sidearm breaking pitches tossed by the Seminole reliever. Davis knows he just needs to throw strikes with a 19-3 cushion, and that he's doing. A ball and 2 strikes the count. That pitch had something on it. Look at the sidewinder bend inside. Ball 2, 2-2. The executive producer of Sunshine Network is Ned Tate. Today's telecast of the NCAA Baseball Regionals produced by Gary Nicholas and directed by Bill Moore Jr. Our production supervisor was Tracy Salmons. Our production coordinator Kelly Gugino, and our technical director was Jimmy Lee Starling. Here's a grounder towards second, gobbled up by Manasseh, 1 away. Thanks to all the men and women of today's Sunshine crew, and it's been a long day, believe me. From dawn's early light till the moon comes up over Dick Howser Stadium, our crew that helped bring the sights and sounds of NCAA baseball into your homes from Tallahassee, Florida today. Thanks a lot, fellas. Sure makes our job easier here.
We'll give a wave as well. Great job by the whole crew.
Until you get in, there you see. It's almost fishing season for all for David. Florida State 19. University of Central Florida 3. Here's a fly ball, center field. Shane Robinson has it measured. 2 away. And the Noles are an out away from reaching the Super Regionals in college baseball. If Wichita State beats Arkansas in the Fayetteville Regional, the Seminoles have a great chance of hosting a Super Regional next week. If Arkansas wins, they're the number 8 national seed, and the Noles will have to pack bags and head toward Arkansas. 2 down. And the batter is Chandler Rose. Since the 3rd inning of today's deciding game in the Tallahassee Regional, only 2 base hits from the Golden Knights. A single by Kevin Richmond, who was then erased on a double play, and pinch hitting LaFleur hit a towering home run that they still are looking for over the fence in right center field. Matthew LaFleur went to yard, but those are the only 2 hits since the 3rd inning by UCF batter. 2-2 count, sidewinder delivery, and the batter stays alive.
It's been an impressive performance for FSU. They got knocked in the losers bracket last weekend. Responded very well, just as they did today.
Seminoles on that top step. They're ready to explode on the final out. Here's a fly ball, right center field. Derek Smith making the play on the run, and that'll do it. Florida State wins the Tallahassee Regional, and the Atlantic Coast Conference Crowns head to the Super Regionals, and a site to be determined later in a conference call by NCAA officials. Florida State battling in Game 2 after dropping a 7-5 decision to the Golden Knights in Game 1, and taking care of business early and often with 4 runs in the first 2 and then exploding for a handful of runs in the 4th, and that just about put it away. Florida State smiling and high-fiving, Seminole fans enjoying a day of baseball at Dick Howser Stadium. Florida State with a handful of home runs, 2 by Stephen Drew. Stick around, highlights and totals coming up. Don't go away. For the Florida State Seminoles, the 2004 season is not over. FSU wins the Tallahassee Regional. They do it the old-fashioned way. They just club the hide off the hard ball. 19-3 your final. And joining us down along the third baseline is co-MVP of this Tallahassee Regional, Hey Hira's own Stephen Drew. Stephen, congratulations on a job well done. And how about these Seminoles?
Oh, thank you. You know, it's just you know, when we won the ACC, I think we came back and just, you know, had to play our hardest, and you know, everybody just pulled to this last game, and we pulled it together, and you know, I think it was our bats that brought us through. So we just hope to carry it over to the Super Regionals and just see if we can bring out some more wins.
Hey, Stephen, how important after UCF won the first game, how important was it for you guys, especially as the visiting team, to really jump on them? I mean, your home run kind of set the table for the whole rest of the day.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the key when you get on them earlier. Whatever happens, you know. But when you get ahead and with the lead, I think it helps out tremendously.
Well, we were talking during the break. You hit 3 home runs today that were in fair territory. You hit at least that many or more that were foul.
Yeah.
You hit the ball real well. Were you seeing it that good?
You know, it's just one of those things. I think, you know, I saw the ball real well today, and I just try to put good swings on it and just help our club out.
Stephen, you got a lot of college baseball left, obviously, depending on how this thing plays out. Obviously, you know the draft is tomorrow. How anxious are you? I mean, what are you hearing? How do you plan to spend tomorrow in terms of waiting to hear where you're picked?
You know, with the draft, I'm just going to go out fishing tomorrow, believe it or not. That's just me. But, you know, as a little kid, you always dream about going into the draft and seeing who's going to pick you. But, you know, right now I haven't heard from anything. I just, you know, I was staying focused with this regional. And, you know, tomorrow we'll see what happens.
Your brother, J.D., made it to the College World Series. You're looking for your first trip, and I'm sure he's reminded you of that. You got one more shot, at least, the way that we're expecting that draft to go this week.
You know, the draft's going to happen. It's going to be there. You know, I'm looking forward to the Super Regional now. You know, when I was young, I saw J.D. play in Omaha twice, and, you know, I was a spectator. Now I want to be, you know, just going out there and be a player, actually.
Well, Stephen, I saw you stand up at a podium last year when your brother was inducted into the Florida State Hall of Fame. You did a marvelous job there, and you do a heck of a job behind that microphone. Congratulations on the big win today.
Thank you, sir.
Stephen Drew joining us. Happy bunch of Seminoles as Florida State advances to the Super Regional with a 19-3 win over the University of Central Florida. And Drew, along with his teammate Brian Zetch, named most outstanding player in the game, the tournament.
Exactly. So congratulations there. And also on the all-tournament team from FSU, Ryan Malone, Brian Zetch, Stephen Drew, obviously Matt Sauls and Rhett James. And from UCF, Drew Butera, Marshall Bernhard, also D. Brown, of course, and Matt Fox and Kevin Richmond. So hard-fought series between these two, and UCF ran out of arms. FSU a little bit deeper, and it showed today, and the Noles play on again into the Super Regionals.
Florida State will play either Wichita State or Arkansas. We'll find out the winner of that regional a little later, and that's where FSU will play, or who they'll play, where they'll play will be determined a little later on. Your final score, Florida State 19, University of Central Florida 3. Winning pitcher Brian Schultz, who improves to 7-1. Brett Bordwine was the loser. He's now 1-1. Noles split a pair today, but win the deciding Game 2, 19-3. For my colleague Tom Block, this is Gene Deckeroff saying thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed today's telecast from Tallahassee. Good night, everybody.